I'm not a lie. Like people think, like whenever I tell a playful lie, I give that I'm lying. It's just because it's like I find it funny because like I'm lying the whole time. I'm communicating it the whole time, and like I communicate that, and that's almost telling the truth.
It's actually on you for not realizing that I'm lying.
Like you can read my face like a book. Like I'm telling you the whole time.
Welcome back to Macrodosing. What's up, people? It is Thursday. How about that? It's Thursday. It's September 14th. We got Arian, Billy, Big T, and the Wonton Don sitting in with us today. We got Madeline and Mackenzie on the ones and also on the twos. Very excited to be back in the studio with you guys. We're going to talk about the CIA today. And we have a very special guest who is a former CIA agent. You can see his story on Netflix, Spy Ops. I believe it was the number 3 rated show across all Netflix yesterday, last I checked. I did not watch it. I was about to, and then Shane Gillis' special popped up, and I was like, I'll check that out instead. But I will be watching Spy Ops. It seems fascinating. This dude's got some crazy, crazy stories that he shares with us. His name's Gary Harrington. You can look him up. He got kicked out of Delta Force, spent some time in South America, spent some time in the Middle East, pre and immediately post 9/11. So he also invited us to come hang out at his house, which I might take him up on. He wants to drink whiskey around a campfire and tell stories. So that sounds interesting. Might have to take him up on that. And Billy was also on Part of My Take yesterday, talking about the Jets. So it was good to see you back. Good to hang out with you back on the old podcast, Bill. People seem to like it. I was just telling everybody that I didn't get any tweets today being like, tell Billy that he should go redacted himself. So good job, Billy.
Sweet.
No, Billy, I'm saying like I had zero complaints about Billy. People were across the board happy to see you make your return. So it was a good showing.
It was nice being a guest.
Yeah.
They treat guests really well.
Yeah, you got to plug all your stuff.
They're like the Taliban.
And that's a little sneak peek of our interview with Harrington later. I forget what the code is that he was talking about, but they have a code in Afghanistan where you would rather get your own head cut off than have your guest suffer a scratch on their cheek. So that's you're right, Billy. We are like the Taliban.
Getting to the Jets real quick. I did predict Josh Allen would get face fucked. That did happen. So half of my prediction was good. The other half was absolutely like the worst.
He got face
fucked.
fucked.
Rodgers.
It was a bad showing from Josh. I still think he'll be fine in the long term, but
where's the video? Where's the video of you eating chicken wings, bro?
Dude, it's on my TikTok. Do you follow me on TikTok?
No, bro. I'm not gonna.
What?
Like
you don't follow me on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok. The fuck, I'm gonna get a TikTok to watch you eat chicken wings, bro?
No, but
put the videos in the group.
I've been
chat.
blogging it.
Okay.
I blogged it, but I mean, I'm gonna do an update at the end of the week. But as of right now, update. I've had to start drinking distilled water because the real bad part is the sodium intake. That's what's getting me. That's what it's making me feel weird. Like now I understand why Frank the Tank's yelling at everybody all the time and is so angry. And that guy just literally like snorts salt like multiple times a day. He has tons of salt in his pocket that he carries with him all the time. And that sodium intake is getting me a little testy.
Yeah, so Frank rolls with packets of salt.
Why?
Got to keep that thing.
He's addicted, bro. You get like you start to crave it even though you feel shitty. Like
I don't want to be that guy, but he needs to
Just
not
like
do that.
He's very healthy in some ways. That like he doesn't drink alcohol at all.
That shit don't matter, man.
And that's actually the only way he's healthy.
Yeah. he has lost a lot of weight though.
I think he's a lot more active at his current job than he was working as a court clerk.
Yep, not as a stenographer as a court clerk. But yeah, he's lost a little bit of weight, but he still loves his salt. He loves his accent that he puts on everything.
But the chicken wings is. I'm gonna make it the rest of the week, but I would not recommend it. Only grilled wings.
You might get kidney stones, Billy.
Yeah.
Can't you make unsalted wings?
Yeah, but the bet was, I don't even know it's not really a bet. It's more like a challenge just to have buffalo wings at least once a day, and I can have another flavor. But every single flavor of wings has copious amounts of salt in it, no matter what. So
what are the effects that you're feeling with the salt? I've never heard that before. That it actually makes it affects your behavior.
well, like you see my face, it's like puffy, and I just feel kind of lightheaded. But I'm counteracting that with distilled water, which if you know distilled water, you're not supposed to drink it because it makes you cramp because it gets your electrolytes out of balance. But my theory is that, like, osmosis and diffusion and stuff. My theory is if I'm drinking distilled water and I have too much sodium, it'll balance out all the salt.
I don't know enough about that shit.
Yeah,
dog.
that
I hope
checks
the
out.
theory's right. I don't know.
Yeah. It checks out, like, from my, high school bio class. So
Yeah. Do you think maybe it's the distilled water that you're drinking that might be causing abnormal effects? Or
no, I just started doing that about an hour ago. So hopefully it kicks in.
All right.
Because
cool.
I've eaten about 5 meals worth of chicken now. Yeah, 2.5 days. Yeah, 5, and I think I have 5 to go. So
Have you lost any weight?
Yeah,
I've lost weight. I started at 232 and I'm now 229. I also been
the best diet ever.
I've been regularly exercising too, so
that's good. I'm back on the exercise now. I was off for about a month and a half, but I've decided to start exercising again. Big news. Feeling great. Moving. Yeah, I did a Peloton last night.
Same here, baby.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What class did you take?
The HIIT and hill training with, I only just started doing the Peloton because we have one in our new building, but the black guy.
Alex Toussaint?
Alex Toussaint,
He's
is
great.
that his name? Yeah, he's great. He's my favorite so far.
He like yells at you. He's like a football coach.
Okay.
That's what I like about him. I took a Kindle Tool class. She's one of my favorites too. She's great.
Okay.
You would like
I don't
her.
know her. They just did celebrating the 50th birthday of hip hop. So they have all these hip hop themed classes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
She did a Megan Thee Stallion Cardi B ride one time. And she was like, yeah, get on that WAP, that WAP, that wet ass Peloton.
Oh,
Great.
wow.
An excellent moment in workout history.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a sauna this morning. And a sauna. So riddle me this. I'm going to ask Billy because I feel like Billy's the expert when it comes to this sort of thing. Billy, are saunas healthy for you? Does it count as a workout if I just sit in a sauna for a long time?
It does put cardiovascular strain on you, but not the same as exercising, but it's the laziest way to exercise.
It is. It truly is.
Yeah.
You just sit and you sweat and then you feel like you got to work out.
I'm big. Okay. It's sauning after a workout. I recently joined a gym that has like a pool and a sauna, and it's honestly helped me drop a little weight. Honestly, it might be skewing the chicken wing results.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You might be getting a little dehydrated.
There's some compounding variables that might be screwing up this experiment, but
I've always found that saunas cure hangovers, but I looked up online and there's no science behind a sauna curing your hangovers.
It just feels good to sweat, I think.
Yeah.
It's endorphins. It's definitely endorphins.
Okay.
I mean,
because I used to feel like you could flush out the toxins just by sweating hard for 15 minutes, but I don't think that's true.
Well, it's the most passive way to sort of get your system going, and you got to drink water though, because it will dehydrate you. But endorphins are, for lack of a better term, like your body's natural drugs, and drugs make you feel good. That's the point. So if you're feeling bad, making your body make you feel good, there's probably not much science there, but it's just.
Also, PFT offered me something a few weeks ago called a Z-biotic that you're supposed to drink before drinking alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's the placebo effect, but I feel like it actually has been taking the edge off hangovers.
I think it does. And they're not a sponsor, but I have a friend that is friends with the person that started the company. And so like 3 years ago, he gave me a Z-Biotic one time. He's like, you got to try this. I had it and I was like, yeah, you know what? The next morning, I don't feel so bad. So I've been ordering just insane amounts of Z-Biotics over the years. They might be coming on as a sponsor because they sent a bunch of new ones. So I don't know.
That would be awesome.
It would be great.
Yeah.
So
I will give it my endorsement.
I also took them. The only thing is they made like bad bowel movements on the other side. I'm not sure if they
maybe
work.
that was the hangover. Maybe.
Yeah.
No. Like
It doesn't say it's going to cure like beer shits.
no,
It
but
says it's
I
gonna-
don't usually get those. But this definitely changed up the digestive tract in some way.
If I just woke up after a night of drinking and like all I had was just beer shits, but not like the hangover and just feeling like death, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will make that trade any day of the week. Big
Yeah.
T, you don't really drink that much, but when
No.
you do drink, do you get bad hangovers?
No, I don't think I've ever had a hangover.
So I think
That's such a
it's so hangovers aren't really about you being older and being in like your 30s. Because for me,
Well,
I
it's
hit my
about
30s.
being an alcoholic.
Well, it's not.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
Come on. Big T. I'm
Yeah,
not an
see,
alcoholic.
I know a lot of non-alcoholics that get hangovers.
You go out
I don't
on
know.
Friday, you have a good time.
Wrong being
It's
alcoholic.
just like your battery has been drained over the years. Like
Right.
I've dealt in my 20s with hangovers that weren't so bad. Then once you get older, they get worse. I think it's just about the amount of times that you drink. That is correlated. If you gave like a 50-year-old who drinks like once or twice a year, if they go out, have a good time one night, they probably wake up in the morning with not that bad of a hangover.
That seems antithetical to me.
What do you mean?
It seems like the more often you drink, the more tolerance you should have towards it.
The more tolerance you have towards the alcohol while it's in your body, but then the next morning, your body's already used up over the course of years and years of dealing with hangovers. It's used that energy, that magic hangover reducing energy. Now
Right.
you don't have it anymore. Right now, your liver's probably awesome.
Sure.
You have a great liver, Big T. If anything happens to you, can I have it?
No.
Why not?
Damn.
damn.
Are
What
you an
gonna
organ
do with it?
donor?
No.
No.
What?
Why not?
No,
the
I don't know. I
fuck?
don't like it.
What
Sometimes
you
you
gonna
do
do with
fucked
your
up shit with your organs.
Oh, here y'all go with the bullshit, man.
Like, did you hear about
No,
that
I
grandma?
didn't say that. I just said I don't like it.
What the
Did you hear
fuck
about
is you
that?
gonna do with your shit when you dead?
Nothing. That's the way I want it.
That's
mine.
Christ.
That's
That's
mine
Christ.
as well.
You know what? That's not very Christ-like, Big T.
That's a good point, Aaron.
I don't know that it is or isn't.
I know that it is not. What do you mean? If Christ could help somebody out with a liver or a kidney or something that you're not using anymore, he would absolutely do so.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He probably
literally
would.
died to save humanity in general.
Yeah, he gave all his
donated
organs to
entire
us.
body.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah,
give his
but
body
then
though.
he
He didn't give
came
his
back.
body.
He didn't give
Body
his body. I
disappeared.
thought that's why you eat the wafers, because you're eating Christ's body.
Right, but he never gave his actual body because Christ's body is the only one of the prophets or religious leaders who doesn't have a burial site.
Because he gave his entire body. His body.
No, his body went to
disappeared in the
heaven.
tomb.
It turned into wafers.
His body
He,
disappeared.
he
though.
gave his life. That is giving his body.
By the way, I am an organ donor.
You should be. It's very
I
Christ-like to
am.
be.
It's funny. Did you hear that story about the grandma that got strapped to a rocket and blown up? And then her grandson.
What
No,
corner
look
of the
this up.
internet do you
all right,
be
all right.
on,
Look
bro?
this
I'll
up.
defend,
I
I'll
looked through
defend
the- I
Billy.
looked
I'll
through the
defend
track.
Billy. I'll defend Billy. This is a true story that Billy's about to tell, and it's extremely fucked up. Billy, you want to go ahead?
Man.
Yeah, so apparently, I think it was the Air Force. This woman dedicated her body to science, thinking she'd be a cadaver or something, and she ended up strapped to a rocket by the Air Force and launched and blown up, just so they would see what would happen to a body if they blew up on a rocket ship or something.
All right. So
And then
Billy,
the grandson
Billy-
was like, "What the fuck?"
Billy's mostly kind of accurate with the story.
I'm probably
So-
totally wrong.
So you can donate your body to science after you die, and a lot of times they're used for dissections in like a medical school, all sorts of stuff that is actually like a good use of your body after you're gone. But there have been some cases where the bodies that are donated to science end up going to the United States military, where they can do tests, and some of these tests involve seeing what sort of damage the human body would undergo if it was subjected to an explosive of a certain type. And so they did strap this lady to a chair, and then they started detonating hand grenades around her. to observe, and bombs to see like what sort of damage this would do to a human. And so, yeah, she was blown up. I don't think she was tied to a rocket and shot into outer space, but they did detonate bombs like right underneath her to see how fucked up she would get.
I would low-key be down for that if I consented to it.
Yeah, if it was you're either going to be dissected by medical students on a table or strapped to a rocket and blown up. If I'm already dead, I think I'd rather take the rocket.
Nah, man. Hell
Space.
no. You're contributing to the military-industrial complex. Fuck that shit.
True.
I want to
Give it to Elon.
Give it
Have him
to
sent Mars.
science so that we
Yeah.
can learn something from it. Because of this, we learn this. Maybe a new medicine. Maybe some, a step towards progression. Like that shit, you just going to more wars.
I want a space Viking funeral. Launch me into space
Yeah.
and light it on fire and blow it up.
I think
Can't have
that'd be
fire.
awesome.
Can't have fire in space.
It's going to be
Doesn't matter, just
pricey,
make
though.
it go boom.
I would just like to have my body floating around space for all eternity, and then an advanced civilization discovers it, and they reanimate me. They put me in a zoo, and then they put like another human being in the zoo. Now I have a friend.
Yeah, that's cool. Also, to think like space is a vacuum, does that mean your body would be pretty well preserved for a long
Oh
time?
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
so,
now.
yeah.
But I also have seen Total Recall, and when the body on Mars is out in the open, the eyes bulge out.
Oh,
And
yeah. That
so-
happens in a
and
lot
there's-
of movies.
Mhm.
Well, there's also 3 boobs in Total Recall, right?
That's very true, Billy. Yeah,
So can't believe everything.
the triple boob. Yeah, it's a great scene, all time scene. Speaking of boobs, you guys see Lauren Boebert get kicked out of the movie theater?
Lauren
No.
Boebert.
Yeah, Billy's right. She was kicked out
Good
of or it
one,
was not a
Bill.
movie theater. It was a production. It was a musical. They were doing Beetlejuice the musical in Denver, and she was asked to leave because she was allegedly vaping, taking pictures and videos, carrying on, talking, laughing, just creating a disturbance. So they kicked her out, and they released all the surveillance footage of her being escorted out of the premises. Would.
Oh,
Bonk.
Yeah.
Look at the video.
does her
I was-
tit fall out?
I was blown away.
Okay, yeah.
Say what you want about her policies, but
Or about going to see
I think-
Beetlejuice
yes.
the musical.
I mean, she really pulls off the shades look, the come on my glasses. She's got those.
I'm sorry, what are those exactly?
Come on my glasses.
Yeah.
Those are like, they're like porn star glasses.
Those
They
are
just
any-
look like
any
they
glasses,
look like
bro. Any glasses.
no,
I
not
think Donnie's into
no.
glasses.
Some girls can just wear normal glasses, and then some girls are clearly wearing the come on my glasses.
I think. Oh, you know what it is? It's if a girl makes you horny, then she's wearing come on my glasses. They're just glasses, bro.
You know what, guys? We're getting way too horny on this podcast. I think
No,
it's the past.
Okay.
I was just saying, like, shout out Lauren Boebert. I think that I'll hear her out. I'll be an active listener for any ideas that she has to run by.
Wait, do you guys remember when California passed that law where porn stars have to wear goggles during facials?
I don't remember that. No.
This sounds fake.
No, wait, no.
This sounds like a Billy.
Nope. This is from the crazy parts of the internet.
How are they gonna regulate that?
Precisely.
I don't know. Yeah, this was back in 2015. California porn stars might be forced to wear eye goggles in scenes. This is
So
in
they
GQ.
Might be.
So they weren't. It was
So
just like
I guess it never happened, but just checking up on it. It was close to 8 years ago, but I remember.
Close to 8 years ago and didn't happen.
Right, but I was just figuring out if it happened.
all right,
Just
thank
asking
you, Billy.
questions.
We got to the bottom of it.
Look,
Speaking about asking questions, the Macrodosing group chat really popped off this morning, early style. I'm talking
Yeah.
6:49.
I'm
This
muted.
came
I'm
across.
muted, y'all. Kept fucking. That woke me up.
Mad Dog sent a video to the chat, and it's a clip of an alien hearing in Mexico where they exposed the alien bodies that the Mexican government allegedly had. And I'm just going to read from the group chat. Mad Dog says, from the aliens community on Reddit, aliens revealed at UAP Mexico hearing. Billy says, yeah, I saw that. Madeline says, is it real? I'm about to post. I don't want to be clowned. Billy says, definitely post. I'm going to do a TikTok on the Macro account with it. Madeline says, "Thank you," and then Billy says, "Actually, it may be fake."
Between
I
6:50
found
and
it.
6:51, he said,
Yeah.
definitely post. I'm going to do a TikTok. Actually, it may be fake. And if Billy says something may be fake,
It's definitely fake.
Dude,
fake.
It's so fake.
So I got all the
Faker than
clicks, we
Lauren
got all the
Boebert's
views
boobs.
from entertaining it for a second. But now we're gonna get even more clicks and more views because I know it's a hoax, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Okay.
So it isn't actually the Mexican government who is in possession of those bodies. It's a group of scientists who allege that they found them in Peru, and those scientists are kind of Mexican. Like, this isn't their first rodeo saying stuff like this. As you know, but because it's all in Spanish, no one was really able to discern what was going on. And then
I think there's a few
those
people out
scientists
there
are
who speak
popular in
Spanish.
Mexico for like being UFO guys. But back in 2018, so those mummified bodies, there were similar ones found in 2018 in Peru, but they were found to be hodgepodge of mummies from like the Incas, children who were like restructured to have 3 fingers, to have weird setups, and they're hoaxes. So this isn't the first time they've done this. It's just the first time they've been able to get it in front of Mexican Congress. So
the scientists, the body of like South American scientists took these and brought them to Mexico, and then Congress allowed them to testify. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, and with all the new like whistleblower stuff in the U.S., it's probably been taken more seriously. But they do have some pretty crazy scans of these bodies, but I'm pretty sure they're hoaxes and just Peruvian, because you know how the Incas used to, leave children as sacrifices up in the mountains in like ceramic pots and stuff as sacrifices to the gods.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But so they find a lot of these small mummified children that have just been dyed and mummified on top of mountains. These were some of them. And they might have done some modifications to give them the 3 fingers. Remember, if you guys, did you see Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
There was this head binding technique that the Incans practiced where they like would put boards around their babies' heads to make them elongated and look like aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see this in a couple of cultures because they think that it, makes them more intelligent. But it looks like an alien-shaped skull. So that could be the explanation for why the skulls are shaped a certain way. But yeah, I did entertain it to get clicks. But at the end of it, I said, definitely a hoax. So
they had like a scientist who claimed like we only like can identify maybe like 30% of the genes or something because they did DNA samples. They're like, we recognize 70% or something, or we recognize 30% of the genes and the other 70% we like haven't seen in an animal before. But I mean, that person could just be trying to sell it as real.
I mean, if you can't identify 70% of it, like you can't identify like 100% of the DNA, in a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? Like
we're what, like 98% identical DNA to chimpanzees?
I think
we're like 30% identical DNA to sunflowers. There's
Yeah.
a pretty big gap.
our
like
DNA,
if you're 30% identical to something in terms of DNA, it basically just means you have carbon, like you're a carbon-based life form.
Now, if like you were going to try to sell these as real aliens to one government, I think Mexico's a good choice because the Mexican president actually posted a photo of what he claims was a Mayan elf not too long ago. This was February 27th, 2023. He like claimed to have seen an elf. Here's the photo. I guess there's like, he just like posted this. He was like, dude, check it out. I saw an elf.
That's awesome.
In my backyard. So I think he's fully on board with the supernatural.
Also, I go back to when all the whistleblowers came out like 3 months ago in the United States saying like, okay, yeah, we have extraterrestrial bodies. We have aircraft that we've studied. I feel like we just did that to let other countries think that we have alien technology. So they're like, oh shit, the United States has a leg up on us. We got to find some aliens of our own. I think Mexico is very smart to be like, we actually have the bodies, and here they are. They're first to market. So now it's going to be like a Mexican thing. Good for tourism. They should probably sell tours of these bodies that they found.
Yeah, it literally looks like the first thing everyone here made in ceramics class when they were in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, like kind of like E.T., like a kindergartner trying to make E.T.
Yeah.
If you were to power rank the scariest looking aliens in movies, like fictional aliens, what do you think would be at the top of that list?
Easy. Arrival.
What's that?
Arrival.
I think it's most realistic.
They're like giants.
Hawkeye, the Hawkeye dude from Avengers. I don't know none of these.
Jeremy Renner.
There you go.
And Amy Adams.
There you go. And so they're octopeds, and so they're like looks like kind of like squid, but they're just like huge. And to me, that's like basically, I think it's the most realistic. If alien I don't think alien life forms would take on our body like all that. That's why this alien shit is bullshit. It ain't gonna look like us, but they look like they have like tentacles and arms, and they write. What is it? Linear time or something like that. Fire movie.
Time is linear.
But anywho, they the scariest to me.
Heptapods.
I'm looking at it right now. This is very, very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I feel like. Remember, I've said this before. Like
we don't know. You have to say it first.
I think the bipedal human-like but reptilian-looking aliens, if they did exist, they also evolved on Earth, and they've just been chilling alongside us, but probably living in caverns deep below the surface.
Antarctica.
This is the one thing that you absolutely you really think this is a thing. Like all the other bullshit you be saying, you just be like entertaining.
Yeah,
you really think this shit.
Yeah. We've only explored 10% of the ocean.
Yeah.
What about the aliens and signs? What do you guys think about those?
Nah.
I thought they were. I thought that one scene in the movie was like incredible. Like that's probably my favorite alien scene in a movie.
The birthday party in Brazil.
Yeah,
and then they pan up because that's the reveal of the alien. He's just walking by. Very scary.
Yeah, that might be my favorite scene. But in terms of just like appearance wise, A Quiet Place, those aliens.
Yeah,
pretty scary. The Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
And then also a very underrated alien movie, Life, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the little thing, right? Like the little
it starts off as the little thing, and then it keeps on growing and growing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest, Cloverfield was terrifying.
That was scary too.
I mean, just because like it was so goddamn big, and that movie scared the shit out of me. The way it was shot.
Just going back to the aliens and signs real quick, because that scene is terrifying. But if you look at a screenshot of the aliens and signs, it's very funny. They look ridiculous. They look absolutely ridiculous.
That's where the CGI was kind of got a newish.
And then
it's become a meme of the one that's in the kitchen.
Yeah,
it's just kind of looking off to the side. So that movie is much better watched and not like paused. If that makes sense.
I mean, even then, I love how like it's fucking left glasses of water that kills the alien off. Like,
get the fuck
it's
out
like,
here. Why did they want to take over a planet that's like 90% water? If water is their only weakness,
swing away.
That shit was whack as fuck. This nigga starts hitting glasses with baseball bats, bro. Get the fuck out! These niggas travel millions of light years to get here. These niggas get off by tap water, bro.
Let's turn a hose on them.
I forgot how whack that shit was.
You know what scene that Signs Flash reminds me of? You know, like episode 7 of True Detective, that like flash where Reggie Ledoux's walking across the street, the screen with a gas mask on.
Mm-hmm.
How terrifying that ending scene was, where it freezes.
Yeah, I feel like if you show something scary that's either in the background or just like very, very fast, it's a great cinematic tool to make it way more interesting than it actually is.
Maybe it's that just pose like scares us from like a primal place, like where they're like in the midst of walking, You know what I'm saying? Like almost the Bigfoot pose.
Yeah.
Like that uncanny valley.
Did y'all see that shit? They balanced that video. They used like AI to balance that Bigfoot video. That the one Bigfoot video that we know is a hoax, but it looks the most realistic where he turns around and looks back and keeps pushing. They balanced it and it looks so fake now.
What they do? So what do you mean balance it?
So like they use some kind of technology to it because like the camera's shaking when on the original one and so it looks like very like believable. So to pretend there's a tripod sitting there and he comes into frame and walks and you can just tell it's fake as shit. Watch, let's see. I'll try to find it.
That's a shame.
The skunk ape is real though.
What's that?
That's down in Florida. It's kind of their version of Bigfoot.
I mean, it's just a feral Florida man.
No, but actually, I think the conspiracy behind that is I met Skunk Ape Dave, who runs the Skunk Ape Research Center down in the Everglades.
What are the odds?
And he did some time in jail for selling like a lot of marijuana. I think he just invented the skunk ape to throw the police off his trail. So when like the cops show up and they're like, why does it smell like skunk over here? And he's like, oh, it must be the ape. It's not the giant field of marijuana I have growing by my house.
He's definitely the skunk ape. It's him.
Yes.
Running through the woods, stone.
Dave Shealy.
Dave Shealy.
Is that Skunk Ape Dave?
Yep.
We should have him on the show.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
I don't think we've done a Bigfoot episode or skunk ape episode.
He would come on. He would actually be a great guest.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I want to know more about this skunk ape. I'm looking at the picture of it right now. It looks real. I'm gonna say
have you guys ever seen Missing 411?
Is that a YouTube channel?
No, it's this documentary that basically says that there's like an interdimensional like apes, big feet that live in all the national parks and they're abducting like the 411 people a year that go missing in national parks or have gone missing in the past 10 years are actually been abducted by these apes that live in tunnels underneath all the national parks, but they're also kind of aliens and have interdimensional like powers. That's why you can't get a picture of any of them.
I feel like there's a much more simple explanation for why people go missing in national parks.
Yeah, but you know that one, it's a wild documentary because it like seems rational up until the last 10 minutes when they're like, there's beings out there and you can't take pictures of them and they might travel through space-time so you like can't see them, but they're abducting the children and eating them or making them feral with them.
It's a wild voice you used to.
It's a wild take. It's a wild take for sure.
Just look it up.
What else do we want to get into?
That did you see the manhunt for the convicted murder?
Yeah, we got him.
His escape.
We got him.
I mean, his escape was ingenious. Crab walking up the wall like he did. That was pretty sick.
So what?
He crab walked up a wall?
Yeah, so there's a video. He's at the door to like outside where like the yard is. And there's what looks like it's some sort of duct or something. You can't even really tell what it is.
It's a hallway. It's a hallway once you get outside, but with no roof over it. So once you walk out of this door, there's a brick wall on your left, there's a brick wall on your right that leads you out to the main yard. And those two brick walls are approximately, I would say, like 6 feet apart. And so he had somebody looking out for him, and then he puts his hands on one of the walls, and then he puts his feet on the back wall, and then using his hands and his feet as leverage, he walks up the wall horizontally.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how he ended up getting it. I don't know what he does once he gets to the top. We don't see that. That seems like it'd be a tough transition to make. But yeah, he Alex Honnold's his way out of this prison.
This is why
all the time growing up, like in between doorways, you crawl up.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Seems like a pretty serious design flaw for a prison.
Yes, I would agree.
But he's pretty short. So I was thinking like for him to stretch that whole hallway, it's not like other people couldn't have done that.
He was just the first one to go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all these parkour videos on YouTube and with all these prisoners who have access to YouTube through cell phones, like not a good mix.
That would be terrifying if you fell from that position. Just like straight down. Just
you'd be able to right yourself.
I don't know. I don't know if you could. Depending on how high the fall was, I guess. But so he got out. He was on the run for how many weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and they got him. Any idea how they got him? I love that he was wearing a Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, they've been spotting him on people's Ring cameras. He was going up to people's doors and stuff. And one guy, he went up to a guy's house. The guy shot at him, and he somehow escaped with a rifle. Apparently, got out with a gun.
He got caught on a trail cam, which allowed them to pinpoint, like a hunting trail cam, which allowed him to like pinpoint his area. Then he came into contact. He broke into a garage, grabbed a 22, which isn't that dangerous of a gun, like comparatively. And he got shot at while running away, but that's how they were able to pinpoint. And like, there was no way for him to escape once they got that location.
Mm-hmm.
And then they caught him. And did you see them taking a picture with him? Like he was like a prized.
That was pretty wild.
It was.
It
a 22
like,
is still pretty dangerous. I would
22.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that's not a. I mean, I think just guns are dangerous in general, unless it's like.
Have you ever seen
BB
the size of a 22? It's basically you can buy pellet guns that are 22 caliber.
But those shoot pellets. He had a 22 that I assume shot real bullets.
Like it's a pest gun. It's like to take down rabbits or raccoons, maybe a coyote.
Are you saying you can't kill nobody with a 22?
Yeah, like target shooting or in small game, like a 22 would hurt, like, but unless you like got hit, it would blind you. But unless you like got hit like right in between the eyes or like in your, like, I don't think you could.
Your neck, if it hit like your
if it hit an artery.
I don't think you're correct on this, man. I think you can kill somebody with a 22.
I think you can.
How dangerous is a 22 bullet?
I mean, I don't know. It says right here it's easily capable of killing or injuring humans.
It's definitely not the most dangerous gun.
But you would rather a convicted murderer not have one on the loose.
I think that anyone that gets arrested in the United States should have to wear a shirt of their favorite sports team as they're getting their picture taken. That's what I would like to see. It'd be so funny just for the memes that would come out of it. I think the Eagles was perfect for this guy. It was really great. Like they're surrounding him and he's like, go Birds. There's also a great compilation video on YouTube of people that are being arrested in Alabama saying Roll Tide as they're being like walked past TV cameras or like put into the back of a cop car. Roll Tide, Roll Tide.
I saw a TikTok today of a guy who has been in prison talking about what they do to people who have tried to escape, let alone actually escaped and gone on the run for 2 weeks. And it sounds pretty bad.
What do they do?
He was like, so they'll put you in, he'll be in like solitary confinement forever.
Yeah.
And they're like, the guards obviously like, he's made a fool of them, so they're going to make his life as difficult as possible. He's like, they'll turn not only the heat on in your cell in the summer, but they'll put pepper spray into the vents, and so it pumps pepper spray into your cell.
Ugh.
And like all sorts of other stuff, and like you can shower once a week, and like they're like he'll never go outside again. Like it was all this crazy shit. I was like, obviously, I guess if you think you can escape, maybe you take your chances, but it sounds like a pretty rough next 50 years or so.
It does. That seems pretty bad. And
really
I guess the guards are probably embarrassed by the entire thing because the entire country is like looking at your prison. Like,
yeah, I mean, he made a fool of. I assume he'll go to a way worse prison now too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with heat sensor cameras and drones, there's really no way to hide anymore. Like you can run, but you really can't hide.
Cover yourself in mud like Predator.
Yeah, I mean, if you if you like shave your head, start wearing completely different clothes, shades and a hat, maybe a wig.
But getting access to that stuff is going to require you to show yourself.
Yeah.
I think the move would be you would have to break out of prison and hopefully it was like near some sort of a train station, and then you hop on a train and then you get off in a major city and you steal like some cash, and then you just blend in the city. I think that's the only way that you can do it.
One, all the train stations have cameras at like the brake stations that are like actually looking for people riding. because cameras are so cheap nowadays and like monitoring systems, they'll see you on the train and be like, "Hey, we got him."
Well, you
And
jump
if you
off before it hits the station.
You got to cross the border to Mexico.
You think that would work?
Well, it worked because there was this dude caught in China. He'd been working as a teacher in China for 10 years, and he had murdered his wife in South Carolina. And I guess right after murdering his wife, he just fled to the border, made it across the border, and then flew from there to China. Maybe got a new passport in Mexico before, and then like he just like worked and got off for 10 years. And the only reason he was caught is one of his former Chinese students was then going to college in the US and just decided to randomly peruse America's Most Wanted list and was like, wait, that was my teacher when I was in China.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to America's Most Wanted list right now and see if we know anybody on there.
Yeah.
But that guy probably had time because no one knew he'd killed his wife.
Yeah, he at least had a little bit of time, maybe at most like a day before.
Think about this. Actually, I don't want to talk about how you'd plan that. But like the idiot, remember the idiot from your town who killed his wife?
Yes.
And like totally did a terrible job of covering it up?
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, he got caught for all of his Google searches. Even if he had turned on incognito mode and did those searches, Google still has access to everything that you look. So incognito mode's not actually that.
It's not incognito from the cops.
Yeah, no, not at all.
As I found out,
so you really just can't use the internet if you're like on the run.
And your router has all your history, no matter how many times you delete it.
I'm looking at the Most Wanted list right now. I don't recognize anybody on there, unfortunately.
That's good.
Billy probably does.
What kind of people we got on there?
We have a couple sex traffickers. We've got this one lady that was arrested for fraud, or that was she's been indicted on fraud. Looks like she ran some sort of a Bitcoin scheme.
That's on the Most Wanted. I mean,
Alleged leadership of a massive fraud scheme that affected millions of investors worldwide.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's serious stuff, but
she's from Bulgaria. She's definitely back in Bulgaria right now. She may have had plastic surgery. I feel like the move is you escape from prison, get to a city, blend in the city, you get to Mexico, and then once you hit Mexico, Ecuador or Belize.
The thing is, in Mexico, I was from watching crime shows, they have like a couple miles south of the border, they have like checkpoints looking for that kind of stuff.
There should be a town in Mexico that is just like is known for being for fugitives.
I mean, the town from Shawshank is pretty famous. I think it's just directly east of Mexico City on the water.
Or something like that.
San Juantaneo.
I forget what it is.
Is that a real city?
I have no idea.
I recently met a dude who loved
the name
surfing
of
there.
City, but
do you think it's a lot easier for an American to sneak into Mexico than for a Mexican to sneak into America?
Yeah.
It's like, because apparently that teacher in China, they just found his car parked near the border. He just parked somewhere and ran across.
Yeah, they're not really looking for people coming from that direction.
Yeah. It would be hard to get back for him, though.
Wait.
What are we waiting for, Billy? What you got?
No, because I remember watching a TV show. If they know there's a fugitive going south to Mexico, they'll set up roadblocks like in Mexico to try to find him.
Mm-hmm.
I would park my car outside the border of Mexico. Then I would get on a train, go up to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
This direction.
That's the move.
Or park your car at an airport somewhere and then just leave the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the city.
Yeah, stay in the city, and that's where
stay right by a police station.
Yeah, you can get by, become a cop.
That's what Blue Streak was about.
Oh yeah,
with Martin Lawrence. He hit a diamond in an old, like they were doing a diamond heist, and he hit a diamond in an old like warehouse that they stole, and he was like, "I'm gonna come back after I get out the box." He came back, it was a police station. so he had to become a cop.
Holy shit, guys! This is even cooler than I thought. There's a group called Gringo Hunters in Mexico
Let's go.
that hunt. The fugitives could have been anywhere. They hunt suspects that might have fled to Mexico.
Gringos is what Mexicans call white people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fucking what?
It's a term of endearment.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
I wouldn't take offense.
But it's not a term of
They used to
endearment.
call me Gringo at the job site in high school.
I would love to hop a train at some point in my life. Maybe not in America. I know it's common in some other countries.
It's pretty damn dangerous. So many people lose their legs.
Yeah,
Seriously.
well, I would hop on while it's not moving. I just want to like sneak into a train yard and then like hide in a cargo cart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
See
I
where
could
it
get
takes
away.
me.
I feel like I can get away. Like if I'm getting hunted or you know what I'm saying, like if I'm a fugitive, I feel like I can get away.
What would you do?
I don't know. I feel like there's so many ways to be inconspicuous, and people be doing the dumbest shit when they're on the run.
But your face is everywhere. People know
Okay.
what Arian Foster looks like.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can go like I would yeah, I don't know.
But
I would-
also, even if nobody knew what you looked like, you can't have any electronics whatsoever. Can't
That's
have
easy.
a credit card.
That's easy.
It's not as easy as you think.
I think it is, man. I really think it is.
Okay, so you jump over the prison walls. You're in prison clothes.
Where am I at? What state? What city? Where am I at?
Let's say where this
You're
guy
in
was.
Houston,
It was in
Texas.
Philadelphia.
Okay. I'm in
Or
Philadelphia.
I don't know if it was in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I think it was
Outside
pretty close
Philly.
to
All
Philadelphia.
right.
So you're in prison clothes.
Okay.
Can't use a phone. Can't get yourself on camera. Can't you don't have a credit card, so that's not a problem. But
Mhm.
like, what do you do?
It depends on what's around my immediate surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like first things first, you got to change clothes. So you got to get out of them shits. And so you got to find like a thrift store, or Ross, or something like that. You know, I can make it happen. It depends on what's around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a survivor, Big T. I can make it happen.
This guy's piece of shit scumbag. Obviously, very glad he's back in prison. But 2 weeks, like that's kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because like this, the news cycle is so. It's just so much going on that like I didn't even know the dude was on the run. You know what I mean? Like how many people are
This
actually
was a
looking
massive
for?
story.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I didn't though. Like there's millions of people out here who just like me who are like I didn't know we was looking for anybody. Like so like
They alert you in the area. Like schools were shut down.
that's what I'm saying. I turned all that shit off. Like, even if it was happening here, I wouldn't know. Like, but I'm saying there's millions of people like me who are just kind of oblivious
No.
to that kind of shit. No, okay.
No, but think about this. Like if it was in your area and they shut down schools like they did in Eastern Pennsylvania, you'd find out if your kids couldn't go to school.
Probably.
Well, why school shut down?
Hold on, they
Because
shut
there's
down
a fugitive.
schools?
They shut down schools. They shut down.
What
they
was
put
his crime? What
Shelter
did
in
he do?
place. Murder.
Murdered his
Murder.
girlfriend, stabbed her like 40 times.
Why would they shut down schools?
So he
There
doesn't
was a
Right,
murder
children.
murderer
children.
on the
with a gun.
loose.
No, that's not how murder works.
No, but
Fuck.
you think
Murder
it's
no-
rational to? You think this guy would rashly not kill a child just because?
So crime is proximal. Like the majority of murders are people that you know. Like it's like there are some people who are serial killers, right? But that's not the majority of murders. So this dude's in jail for murdering his girlfriend. Odds are he's not gonna go to a school and
Right.
kill a bunch of children.
But
Right, but what
fugitives on the
could
run
happen-
tend to take hostages to make demands,
Yeah.
and schools are perfect place
I
to
don't
hold helpless people hostage.
don't
I
know.
also think what could happen would be like he's going to be stealing cars and shit. So and he's going to be looking for food. He's going to be looking for money. So he's going to break into houses. He
Robbing
couldn't
is
shoot
definitely a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he could shoot somebody in a house. He's
He's got
desperate
5
man.
stars.
Yeah, he's got
Cool.
5 stars. I don't
It's
think
GTA
he's going to be
out
like
there. Stay inside.
he's not going to be like going down the street and just shooting random civilians.
I didn't,
But-
yeah, I don't,
He could
I guess
he could
everything's
cause some
possible.
trouble in other ways.
yeah.
Can I share my favorite scumbag Philly story of all time?
I would love that. Yeah.
So there was this robot called Hitchbot that they created, and it was a hitchhiking robot, and it had done trips like all around Europe, around parts of the U.S., and then it was doing some trip down the East Coast, started in Boston, and like a couple hours after it made it to Philly, some people just beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, the Hitchbot is awesome.
Like it had lasted so long, and it was like some like beautiful social experiment. People would like pick up the robot, drive it, drop it off somewhere, and it worked everywhere except for Philly when they immediately just beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
That's like
Tore it to
that's
pieces.
That's like that tweet, like me and my friends would have killed ET with hammers.
Yes. Exactly.
If you saw ET,
I mean, E.T. was terrifying. He might be one of the scariest aliens.
Yeah.
He's
If
just
you
so
saw
slow,
one of the
though.
aliens
Why would you
shit.
beat him? He's so slow. He moves so slow. He ain't gonna do shit.
That's why. Because
you'd
feel like
beat the shit out of
confident.
it if
I
you were
would
scared.
not. I would not engage with it if I was scared.
All right, so Arian, Big T, or not Big T, E.T. shows up at your door, rings your doorbell.
I'll show up at his door.
You answer the door,
I'll whoop your ass, big.
and E.T.'s there. You open the door, and you see
goes-
E.T. just
it goes-
chilling there, trying to come into your house. Yeah, he makes his little noise. You tell me you wouldn't punch him in the face?
First of all, he's like what, 4 feet, right? So I'm looking
Yeah.
down at him,
You kick
and
him.
he knows to ring my doorbell, so he's somewhat civil, right? So I answer the door, I say, "What's going on, little man?"
You're
What's
doing
up?
this in theory. You're doing this in theory. In real
Bruh,
life,
You get scared.
If a weird looking thing rings my doorbell, I'm like, "What's up?" My first, I'm not a violent human being. My first inclination is not to
No,
kill
you-
the
you'd be
4-foot
scared.
being.
No, that is a lie. That is a
How you
lie.
gonna tell me? How the fuck you gonna tell me about me?
No, I've seen your reactions on the football field.
I'm playing
You'd
football.
react
B. That's
efficiently.
entirely different. It's
Yeah,
entirely
but
run
different.
away
it's a
from it.
high adrenaline
I'm not the
situation.
same. I am not the same cat on the football field as I am outside. I'm not
Okay,
the
well,
same.
let's say you open the door and there's a bear trying to get in. What do?
Why is a bear ringing my doorbell?
Because it
Want
actually
some porridge.
pushed it trying to push into your house because it's hungry. Hungry
This is
bear.
goofy. No, goofy.
No, but like you're telling me you're going to open the door and not like be like, ah.
The premise was this sentient 4-foot being
You don't know
presses
it's
my
sentient.
ring. If he's ringing my doorbell, he's sentient.
There's so many things that can ring your doorbell that aren't
There has
that aren't
been
intelligent.
nothing that is not sentient that has ever ringed my doorbell, fam. So
Your
odds
doorbell.
are, this is my doorbell. This is y'all's scenario on my doorbell.
Has an alien ever ringed your doorbell?
That's the stupidest shit you ever asked.
I know,
All right.
but this is
By
a
spawn.
hypothetical.
New question. Let me rephrase. The ringing the doorbell that gave you a convenient out. You're walking down the street.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You're
I
walking
don't
down the
know.
street. You and your daughter are walking down the street. You just had a lovely meal at Papa Do's. You had
Why
a
am I
great-
walking? First of all, it's Houston. It's
What
hot
do
as
you mean?
shit.
Why are you walking? Because you're a human.
It's too hot to walk anywhere in this city.
In Texas, people don't walk.
We don't walk, bro. We
Except
we
for
get in our
maybe in
cars
Austin.
and go from A to B. There's no why I
You're
don't
walking
go
to your car.
Okay,
You
that's
didn't
right,
let me
okay.
finish. You're walking. You just
Straight
finished up.
parking.
You said
It's
down the
quarter
street.
mile
That's-
away.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
you
walking
just
no
finished-
mile to no fucking
Quarter mile, I said.
You and your daughter are going to your car. You had a great meal.
Mm-hmm.
You're turning a corner because your car is parked 3 car lengths down on the left-hand side. You're making a left-hand turn. You're going around a building, and ET is just standing there. Right when you turn around the corner, ET's there just looking at you.
You got a
You
hoodie
tell
on?
me- ET, no, he's nude. He's wearing just his birthday suit.
It's just a little wrinkly old 4-foot thing.
And you're
Yeah.
telling me that you would not protect your family.
I'm picking
just-
my daughter up and running.
I would
Yeah.
drop kick him.
But
I'm
if
saying
it's
the
not
first
trying to
thing-
attack you,
Yeah, but you're scared. You get startled.
I would be, yes,
You're
I
discounting
would,
the startled.
I would run away and call animal control. That's probably what I would do.
I take dog treats out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Give me some
My-
bacon strips.
You have just dog treats in your pocket right now. You got dog
Sometimes.
treats in your pocket.
No, because I changed after I took Blake out this morning. No dog treats.
It would be so pissed if you tried to feed it a dog treat. It only likes Reese's Pieces.
I know.
Dude, you know what I saw that was like freaky the other day? And Hubs is my witness, saw it as well. So you know how in the office, you know, you walk downstairs and there's just the middle of the avenue and like you can see right out into the street in the big doors.
Let's
I-
say, let's
Uh-huh.
say that we know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
No,
Yeah.
in the New York office.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was just a super jacked dude without a shirt on standing in the middle of the avenue, staring directly into the office, just standing there looking like this, like he was like a villain in a video game. And it was like if you walked out the door, it was going to be like fighter on.
Was he like pulsing? Just
yeah. And I was just like, I walked down. I was like, it's the man in the cave. He's here.
Punch him? Did you go punch him?
No, but
why
I was
not?
like,
Why not?
because he was just a homeless guy, and
So?
I don't know what was dealing with.
Why didn't you punch him?
Because but it was
Because you just
crazy.
don't punch shit randomly. I get you.
No, but he wasn't right in front of me. He didn't pose a threat once I walked out the door. But it was just like it was one of those scenes where you walk up and you're like, is this like, am I about to be on Punked? Like,
yeah, it seems like a prank video.
Yeah, and he was just standing there like, and I was like, oh my god, it's the man in the cave. He's finally come to get me.
Arian, you would be startled, and in that startled rush of adrenaline you would defend your family. You would punch ET in his face.
So fight or flight only happens in certain scenarios, right? And in that scenario, I don't think my fight would trigger. I would do flight because I don't know what it is, and I don't fuck with nature in general, like dogs, bears, whatever, moose, mice, meats. I don't care what it is. I don't fuck with nature. I just leave nature alone. And so my natural instinct is to run away, just go away. I'm not gonna fight something I have no idea what it is. That's just not my nature.
Would you shut the door?
I thought I was in a Papa Do's parking lot. What do we?
I got mixed up.
Billy mentioned Punked, though. I've been getting a lot of Punked clips on TikTok. That show was awesome.
It was great, wasn't it?
It was good stuff.
So good.
Should Barstool do its own version?
We should start punking
I feel like we have the resources.
Yeah,
Friends of Barstool.
It seems like it's just a Tommy Smoke special waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
Well, they punked Mincy.
This could be the control show. Yeah. He was punked. I mean, and that was a smash hit.
I really would
Just
appreciate getting punked.
Talking about when he
that
dropped the M-bomb, they punked him?
You would have to now, it does not take too much to punk Mincy. But if you wanted to punk some other people in the office, you would definitely have to invest a little more time and money. But I think it could be done.
Yeah.
John Rich straight up stalks people.
He does.
And he investigates them. But I'm always looking over my shoulder for John Rich.
He was going to stalk someone at the company, and it was vetoed by Dave, I heard.
Who's that? We'll bleep it.
It was he was good.
I'd like to punk Frank. Just like wait outside Penn Station and be like, train's delayed 2 hours.
Well, Frank was punked the other day when he thought Feidelberg was Roan's dad because Feidelberg just had like a bald wig on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Who would be the hardest to punk, do you think?
It was just like
Me.
No,
because
I keep too many tabs.
Big T.
I think maybe because Billy's just so paranoid. Like when we were at that Trump protest and stuff, you thought everyone there was about to start like a riot. And so I feel like you're always on edge. You always feel like someone's trying to fuck with you.
Big T would be very difficult to prank. Because you'd be like, this is stupid.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, like I'm generally a skeptical person, but it depends what it is. Like,
yeah, you'd be very difficult to punk.
also depends who's doing it.
Yeah.
Like Dave could punk anyone.
Right.
Because if Dave comes up and tells you something, you would assume that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But that just wouldn't even be funny though. Like that's fun. That's terrorizing people, bro. Like your boss is right here. Like that's not cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Dave could do it easily. Billy could not.
Yeah, he don't have a good poker face either. Billy, you don't got a poker face, dog.
Oh, we're
Not
talking
at all.
about I wouldn't be able to punk somebody?
Mm-mm.
That's fine.
Yeah, I would only be able to get punked by people that I don't like normally interact with. So if there was like someone else at the company that all of a sudden came up to me, I'd be like, this must be serious because I rarely talk to you.
But also, it can only happen like once because once the footage comes out of one person getting punked, then the guy's doing the punk, and now everybody looking at you like, you ain't finna get me.
But
you
no,
have to record
sometimes
a
they're
full
not
season.
involved. Like Tommy Smokes wasn't involved in the Mincy thing.
I didn't see that. I don't know what that means.
You'd have to do a full season of it before you released it because then people start to
Yeah.
think that maybe this is happening to them.
You could also just punk non-Barstool employees, but friends of the company.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
Guests that you've had on Pardon My Take.
Yeah,
Like Griffin.
that'd be
Yeah,
hilarious.
yes.
Marlins man.
Yo,
He'd be so easy.
I saw him
easy.
the other day. He's still going strong.
Oh yeah, he doesn't stop.
Sitting behind home plate.
No quit in that guy, unless the game's in Cleveland, in which case he won't go to Cleveland.
Oh, he won't?
No, because they're mean. They're very mean people to Marlins man in Cleveland. Guardians fans, scum of the earth, according to Marlins man. Has nothing to do with the fact that at the Cleveland Stadium you can't see the people that are sitting directly behind home plate because there's a high wall. He won't go there because the people are very mean to him. Very, very nasty. Nasty city.
I disavow.
Also, shout out to Dad Dog, who was at the Browns game. Made a little video for me. Appreciate that, Dad Dog. I'm sorry I didn't see it until later on in the afternoon, but it was very funny. What's that?
You were busy.
I was busy doing watching football.
Let me play it real quick. You tweeted something about the Browns.
I made fun of Deshaun Watson. I was like, shocker, something else nasty slipped out of Deshaun's hand.
Once you come to town, catch a game.
Our boys doing okay. Once you come to town, catch a game. Yeah, Browns didn't look so bad. They didn't look bad at all.
Good seats he's got. Those season tickets?
No, he was a guest.
Myles Garrett did something terrifying. Aaron, have you seen the clip of Myles Garrett rushing the passer from this weekend?
The one he was pretending to cross over?
Yeah, he was doing like crossover dribble moves with no ball, obviously, before the snap, and then he just crossed up the center and got into the backfield. That dude is...
I was like 4 minutes into the game.
He's a terrifying athlete.
I don't even think he was pretending crossover. I think he was just dancing.
No, he had
He
like
was doing like a basketball like between the legs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Aaron, did you ever think that you were like... Did you ever put yourself into like a basketball mindset when you had the ball, like you were crossing somebody up?
Oh my God, at UT, dog. So I redshirted, right? So I just did like the best I could because when you redshirt, it's like you just basically a scout team, so you just kind of like a dummy, right? I was never good at that, so I was like, y'all gonna feel me, and so I was playing against the ones again, and so I'm true freshman, and so I think it was like either zone or sweep, but I'm on the outside. And I shake somebody. I forget who it is. It might have been KB. It was Kevin Barnett. Shook him, and then another guy's coming, and I stick my foot around, and I put the ball behind my back.
Oh shit!
And it was so smooth on film. It looked fire, but the coaches got fucking pissed. Though they said, "You will never touch the field if you do that stupid shit." It was fire, though, bro. It was fire.
Can you track down that film?
It's gotta be. So our camera dude is actually, when I was there, Joe, I think he's with the Raiders now, but they have rooms and rooms full of shit. I know it was practice. It was on defensive practice field 04. So if it's there, they'd have to dig in the archives, but I'll try. I'm going to the Texas A&M game. I'll see if I got it. I'm also going to go get my mugshot. I'm going down to Knox County.
Yes.
I'm going to go get my mugshot. Yeah.
We're going to sell T-shirts with Aaron Foster's mugshot on it.
Let's go.
I'm going to sell T-shirts. I'm not letting Barstool make a dime off my fucking... Hell no.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we will.
I just want the picture.
I'll send it to you when I get it, though.
I'd like a shirt too, but
I found the arrest
get
story.
it, BobbyFino.com.
that'd be a sick shirt to wear to a UT game.
Yeah, it would.
That would
Just
be fire.
Just the Arian mugshot. Were you? I guess they didn't make you wear like jail clothes, did they?
I think I was. Yeah. No, I was in pinstripes. I spent the night in there. Yeah.
It wasn't orange. If it was orange, it'd be better.
No, it was pinstripes. Which is why I didn't think pinstripes were a thing. And then I went to the jail and everybody had on pinstripes.
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember when Mike Vick got arrested and he went before the judge for the first time and he was wearing pinstripes in a courtroom, and it was like, I thought this was only in cartoons.
Yeah, I thought it was a movie thing. I was like,
I thought now it was like an orange.
Yeah.
Different
jumpsuit,
place. I've
which-
seen like navy blue. Different places just
Okay.
do like different ones.
The orange jumpsuit makes sense because then it's harder to
Hide this.
yeah, when you make a jailbreak. It's
Well,
a
except in
lot easier
Knoxville.
to spot you. Oh yeah,
this is why you couldn't punk anybody. Your face when you say a joke, bro. It's like,
I like everyone.
Guys, get it?
Whenever
guys, get it?
I'm not a lie. Like people think, like whenever I tell a playful lie, I give that I'm lying. It's just because it's like I find it funny because like I'm lying the whole time. I'm communicating it the whole time, and like I communicate that, and that's almost telling the truth.
It's actually on you for not realizing that I'm lying.
Like you can read my face like a book. Like I'm telling you the whole time that it's a lie.
Gaslighting the shit out of us, man.
Yeah, but
It's
then
your
like
fault.
that's happened, and I've been like, Billy, you're lying. And you're like, okay, well, I was trying to be interesting, so
when I tell a playful lie.
That's hilarious, bro.
I love it. I love you, Billy.
The only
Thanks,
time I got
guys.
arrested, I know they took a mugshot, and then I was like, a week later, I was like, that must have been a hilarious mugshot, but I never got a copy. So I went back to the police station. I was like, could I get a copy of my mugshot? And they were like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
But
It's got to be
yours,
public
though.
record, though.
Yeah, it's yours. You can get it.
Your tax
know.
dollars paid for that camera.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I can't believe we can't find it. Like, because they're public record. It should. And
It got
like, yours
expunged. It got expunged. So.
Oh, that's probably why then.
But they have it though. I think I just have to go down to the courthouse or
Well,
wherever.
I mean, you don't know. Did you have like a lawyer that was close with the program?
yeah.
They may have gotten the whole thing wiped and thrown out.
Yeah, back in the Fulmer days, we made things go away.
Like it could have very easily
didn't-
just
I didn't
been
kill anybody,
thrown.
man. It was
Like the
just-
I
file
know.
been
Well,
thrown away.
That they couldn't get taken care of, but the
Murdered a
little
baby.
things. It's like when Jeremy Pruitt was the coach and one of the players got pulled over, and he was like arguing with a cop. I think he didn't have a license or something, and they called Pruitt at like 2 a.m. And Pruitt was like, "This is the silliest shit I've ever had to deal with. Everywhere else I've been, this stuff doesn't happen." Basically saying at Alabama and Georgia, like the cops don't do this.
Agreed.
And it
Well,
used to be
agreed.
that way in Knoxville, and then we sucked for a while. But hopefully now they're back on the take a little
Bro, I'm
bit.
so mad. We walk so that they can run. I had a moped. I took one of my what is that shit called? The Pell Grant. I took one of my Pell Grants one semester, and I bought a moped. It was like $1,000, and I was riding all around campus. It was beautiful because I didn't have to take the T. You know what I'm saying? I was just parking right outside the class. It was beautiful, man. Then all of a sudden they started cracking down on people riding because like other people started getting them. Everybody started getting them. And then they started cracking down on people because you didn't have a helmet on. And so if you didn't have a helmet, they said no. And then the police started getting into it with us. And so the coach made saying everybody ban mopeds. You can't ride any mopeds. But now everybody can ride mopeds again. And I was like, it's setting trends once again.
There you go. Billy, you said that you found the incident report?
Yeah, 3 vols arrested after altercation at nightclub, November 5th, 2006. We don't have to relive it.
I didn't kill anybody, bro.
We've read it before, I think.
Yeah, because I remember you said nightclub, and to me it's like, how come if somebody gets arrested at a place, it's a nightclub, but if anybody else talks about it, it's just a bar?
It was a nightclub.
Okay.
It was Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goodfellas. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna track down this mugshot. Before we get into CIA talk, there's one other video I wanted to discuss. Arian dropped this one in the group chat. It kind of blew up yesterday, but it's the property developer, the commercial real estate guy, Tim Gurner. He's the one that was like all. I think he was the one that gave advice to millennials like stop eating avocado toast every day and you'll be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He had an all-time video that came out at the property summit. It was the Financial Review Property Summit where a bunch of commercial real estate people gave speeches. And this guy was talking about how the worker has gotten too uppity these days. The American worker, I guess international worker, there's too many worker rights things going on.
Mental health days.
They feel like they feel like that their employer owes them something, not the other way around, that they are working for the employer. And so he said, we need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50%. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. Just like all-time cartoon villain shit
That's
that
hilarious.
he's saying out loud. And the first reply to one of the tweets I saw was like, this guy's a sociopath. I actually think he is a sociopath. I think like it's textbook sociopathic behavior for him to talk about these things that could happen and just like use abstract numbers like 40, 50%. They need to feel pain without like imagining what the real world translation of that would be for somebody that is part of that 40, 50%. But it's crazy that he's saying that out loud on a microphone in front of an audience while he knows that he's being videotaped. This dude is an absolute sociopath.
But I mean, that's a sentiment amongst a lot of people. They really feel that shit. Most of them lean right, I would say, but that's the sentiment.
But if you like lean right, you don't want 40, 50% unemployment because like it's going to be riots in the streets. You're just you want law and order.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like the right. That's what's confusing me about the right. They're not very pro worker, but they say that they're like pro. Like middle class, and they want to have a strong, but it doesn't make sense because like they're super pro ownership, which is what this dude is. He's saying workers are lucky to have these jobs that these owners are giving to them, and it's like no, dog. Like the Amazon don't work without these motherfuckers in the warehouses. Without these people driving, they don't work. It's a great idea that don't work.
Tim Gurner.
Lucifer.
This dude, he builds and manages commercial real estate. Who do you think is making those buildings for him? Like he just sits in an office and has a lot of money, and then he's like, okay, we're doing this project. Okay, I'm going to move some numbers around a spreadsheet. Now I'm going to have more money. And but he's like these lazy motherfuckers don't want to work anymore.
Yeah, for like wanting healthcare or wanting like lunch breaks. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, this guy is nuts. He's worth $677 million.
What's his name?
Tim Gurner.
Tim?
600 M's, bro.
50% unemployment. There would be riots in the streets at that point.
As there should be. That'd be crazy.
I mean, you wouldn't have an economy at 50% unemployment.
True. Yeah, there'd be no tax base either.
Like it would, the country would cease to exist.
What percentage was the Depression?
Probably like 20, 25.
Yeah, that would be bad. That'd be very bad if it was like 20%, 25% unemployment.
What's it at now? What's the economy under Sleepy Joe, Big T?
Dude, it's
I think unemployment is at like 5 or 6. I want to say.
Brother, it's an all-time low. It's at an all-time low.
Not at an all-time low.
Yes, it is, brother. It's an all-time low.
Well, it may be.
It's the lowest it's ever been for the longest it's ever been.
They may have found a way.
Struck me, brother.
They may have found a way to finagle the numbers, given that all the jobs that went away during COVID have come back.
No, brother. So, it's at an all-time low. It is what it is.
Bidenomics, baby.
The accounting on that is I will look into, but I guarantee you that's probably part of it.
All right, let's look into that.
All right.
Fact sheet. I'm at whitehouse.gov. Bidenomics at work.
Well, they don't have a vested
in 79 metro areas with record low unemployment rates.
Talk that shit, Biden. Talk that shit, Sleepy Joe.
Talk that shit.
Is that the same whitehouse.gov that alters his quotes?
Probably.
He brought up
I'm not a fan.
again the other day.
I'll be the first one to criticize Biden, but there are some things that he's done that I've.
Now it says Biden cherry picks unemployment record.
Yeah, newsflash. Every president ever. Yeah. It's the easiest thing to cherry pick.
They all do.
Without a doubt. You can say like in the last 20 years unemployment is down, and then you look back 20 years and it was like a record month for unemployment.
Yeah.
And then you compare it to that and you're like, look how great I'm doing.
25.
Being a cherry picker would be a great job for a president. It's so easy.
Big T, you were right. 25% was the unemployment rate in 1933. That is crazy.
Yeah, so 50% you wouldn't have a country anymore.
All right. So you guys want to get into some CIA discussion?
I do.
Really quick.
No, not yet.
I have a tiny needle in my ear.
Okay.
That sounds sick.
That's what's up, man.
No, I got the acupuncture treatment for the alpha-gal thing, and they literally stuck a tiny needle in my ear, and I can't even see it, but apparently it's going to cure me.
Are we sold on acupuncture?
Leave it in there?
Sold on that shit, dude.
If this works, I'm absolutely sold because they're doing some weird shit, and I can't even explain exactly what they did, but they like found a point in my ear and just stuck a needle in there. But like if this stops me from getting hives after eating red meat, when the allergist told me that I basically need to get an EpiPen and go fuck myself if I want to ever eat red meat again, like solutions are solutions. Like I don't know how exactly it works. It has something to do with like pressure points and energy and maybe electricity.
When are we going to know if it works?
What?
Also, I've never heard about acupuncture where you just leave the needle in. Usually, like you leave it in for like 15 minutes or like an hour. But
me either.
It's just there now.
I'm gonna have this in for 3 weeks.
And
Holy
so
shit.
after 3 weeks, that's when you can start eating red meat and see.
No,
if it
I can
works,
eat
or
red
you
meat
can do
right
now?
now. Apparently,
Oh, it sucks that you're doing the chicken wing challenge.
Yeah.
We won't know.
well, no, I mean that's kind of good. They said the first week, like, don't go crazy, but the chicken wing thing is like a good holdover. It just is eliminating a week that I have to wait.
Wait,
Yeah.
when's the last time you ate red meat? I didn't know you couldn't eat red meat.
The last time I ate red meat, but if I do eat red meat, I can, but I have to take a ton of Benadryl and citrazine, which like I can't really do all the time because it'll make me sleepy.
But when's the last time you ate red
The
meat?
last time I ate red meat was Chipotle for dinner about 2 weeks ago, which had steak in it.
And what happened?
I took Benadryl and I only got a couple hives around my like waist where like the clothes rub, but I haven't had any of the big blow ups. So it's probably been 2 weeks.
Congrats, man.
Well, I'm rooting for you, Billy.
Yeah.
There's a video coming out. Shout out Jet Ski. Putting it together. It's gonna be good. I'm going to try to show people who've also been afflicted with this terrible alpha-gal syndrome how to beat it.
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. If I can do it, you can eat red meat again.
Also, there's a report coming out from NASA today, if you're listening, on Thursday, September 14th. There's a full report from the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Independent Study Team that's coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So maybe it's already come out by the time you're listening to this.
UAP.
The UAPs, yeah, NASA is releasing their full report, and then there's going to be a media briefing. Very excited to read that.
Ain't gonna be shit.
Probably not. Probably it's going to be like, okay, there's some weather balloons. Move along. Now, can we have more funding, please? If
And
NASA was smart, they would say that there's like, yeah, we need to increase our budget so we can go find these motherfuckers and kill them. But NASA famously run by a bunch of very unintelligent people, so they won't.
What was it, Japan? Didn't Japan just go land something on the other side of the moon or something like that? Was it Japan? Or
India did.
India, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. They landed on the moon for the first time, I think.
Dark side of the moon.
And then Russia recently crashed on the moon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Russia.
Yeah.
Like intentionally?
No. They were just trying to land normally and they just crashed directly into it. So go India.
Yeah.
Boo Russia.
Boo Russia.
Do you know what they doing up there? Do they send somebody or was it just like a probe?
I think they just want to join the fraternity of countries that have landed things on the moon.
That's pretty dope, man.
It is.
Have we just realized that like it's kind of pointless to go back to the moon?
It is not pointless to go back to the moon.
Well,
no,
I
but
think
we're
we
trying to shoot
kinda
for the
have-
stars.
We have realized that in the last like 40 years, we haven't really done shit on the moon recently, but now we're going back. I don't think it's pointless. It's just, I think the level of danger to send like a manned mission back to the moon, given like what we think we can learn, it's politically not great because if something goes wrong, then they're going to blame the president for it. And so I think that's what we've seen. But we are going to send people back, right?
I don't know of any
Yeah.
plans currently. I mean, it could be. I don't know. But we
I think
should.
Mars. I think
China's
Mars
got
is
plans for like a moon base where they're just going to have people on the moon like at all times.
That would be fire.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to piss off America when China builds their base on the moon.
And see, that's the thing. Though. I've said this before. It was like, yo, leave Earth stupid shit on Earth, man. Like if we in space, let's be peaceful. Let's greet the outside universe with our best, not our politics and our bullshit. Leave that shit on Earth, man.
I feel you.
I mean,
Agreed.
Amen.
there is a theory that the only way we hit like the space age is if we all unify against a common threat. So the creation and propagation of possible aliens might cause a one world government and make us combine to then move amongst the stars as one humanity.
It's like, that was a beautiful speech, Billy.
Beautiful.
That was
I'm
like,
fucking amped up.
That was like Bill Pullman in Independence Day right there. That was great. I always
sound like a globalist though.
I know, like no, they're like, if you go in the deep parts of the internet trying to figure out whether these aliens are real, you have a bunch of like far right guys going, this is all part of the plan. They're trying to make us think there's aliens so that we do globalism.
I liken it to training camp. We've been in training camp here on Earth, and we're sick of hitting each other. We need to now coalesce and hit somebody else for once.
That's what I said about the Civil War. The reason why the U.S. was so good in World War I and World War II is because we had an inter-squad scrimmage.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to CIA stuff, it's brought to you by Gametime. I love Gametime. You guys been to any baseball games? Big T, I know you have.
I've been to, I believe, 7 Cubs games since I've lived here.
That's awesome. You like Wrigley Field?
Love it.
What's not to like besides the bathroom lines?
The hot dogs.
Haven't had to use the bathroom there yet, so. But yeah, everything else is perfect.
Yeah, you've been to 6 games and you haven't used the bathroom
7,
yet?
I think.
That's incredible.
One, I did need to go to the bathroom, and the game was like over, so I left in like the 8th inning.
Well, this is why he doesn't get hungover.
Yeah, it doesn't drink that much. Big T, shout out to your bladder.
Shout out.
Scott Hansen has nothing on you.
Baseball games are way shorter now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
With the pitch clock.
2.5 hours.
It's true. But if you want to go to a game, you should use Gametime. It's the official exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. We've got baseball, football season. Billy has to pee. Thank you for announcing that, Billy.
Man, sitting right into the mic.
This bathroom break is brought to you by Gametime. It's college football season. I think we've got some plans. Arian's going to go down to Knoxville. I'm going to be in Knoxville that weekend too. Big T, you should go down there. Check out UT against A&M, right?
Maybe we'll call Gametime.
Maybe we'll give them a call. Gametime is the best. It's so easy. They've got the best last-minute deals on tickets, whether it be a sport, a concert, or a show, and they guarantee the lowest price. It's also very easy to use. You can send it via text to your friend, to your family member, whatever the case may be. It's very, very easy to use Gametime. And they have the biggest last-minute price drops, and they will credit you 110% of the seat price if you can find a better deal elsewhere. So they stand behind it. They've got flash deals. The purchase process takes 2 taps, 10 seconds, and then the tickets get sent directly to your phone. No printer needed. You can skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download the Gametime app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code MACRO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. I'm going to be going to a Washington Commanders game this season, and I'm going to talk to the people at Gametime because apparently it's now hard to get a ticket to a Commanders game. Shocking how quickly that turned around. I wonder what changed this offseason, but we have a sellout. I'm going to be using Gametime to get in. I love Gametime. Download that app or go to the website, and boom, here's $20 off your first purchase. Just redeem code MACRO. Terms apply. All right, so we're going to talk about the CIA as soon as Billy's back from the bathroom.
I want my
pause here.
I want my fantasy matchup this week.
Oh, how'd you do, Aaron? Did you win?
I won 100-96. It was a dog shit matchup, but we got it done.
There we go.
While we're waiting for Billy, can I pitch something?
Yeah.
I've been invited to an American football game in Uganda.
Whoa.
November 13th. It's going to be Uganda versus Kenya.
Yes.
So if anyone in this room wants to join.
What's the spread there?
I don't know. We'll have to check it out, but apparently they're really trying to grow the game in Africa.
That's cool.
They're also going to have the DRC versus Zimbabwe, but they're only playing flag football. Kenya and Uganda are the only teams out there that have been playing in full pads.
That's November 13th?
Yeah.
Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
In Uganda?
Is that a Monday night?
It's a Monday night. I would love to go. I don't know if I can go during
November
football
13th?
season.
Yeah.
But I would love to go and then go on a gorilla trek as well.
Yo, true. Yep. You can see the source of the Nile. I mean, PFT is the only one, I think, that I know on this planet that is perfectly down with like a 48-hour trip to the other side of the planet.
100%.
Yeah.
What are the drug laws in Uganda? Can you look that up?
I know you're not allowed to be gay there.
Okay.
Bang, bang.
I know they're very anti-LGBTQ.
We should go over there and just kiss.
If we just start like making out at halftime, that would be bad.
What a statement that would be.
Yeah.
Well, bang, bang.
We were talking about doing that at the Qatar World Cup. We were going to kiss in front of the stadium.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
remember what happened to the guy in the rainbow shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that
I mean,
was related, but
But he did pass
you
away.
think he mysteriously died?
Yeah, they released the autopsy report,
yeah.
and his wife was talking about it. He had a illness and a pre-existing condition, whereas like he died of internal blood loss.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. So let's talk about the CIA for a little bit. So I talked about this on Tuesday's show a little bit, the new JFK thing that happened, but the CIA is now being directly implicated in the assassination of JFK. So some of the old theories are starting to make a little bit more sense. How Lee Harvey Oswald was he defected to Russia for a while, and he went there through Finland, and he had help getting into Russia. We didn't really know how he got, or the Soviet Union. We didn't really know how he got there. Now there's a lot more things being brought back up, unearthed about certain people that were in the CIA that were closely handling his file at the time. And now it's a speculation that he came back to the United States and he was a double agent. So he was sent over to Russia as a CIA agent. He went to Russia and then he told them he was like working for them, but he was actually funneling intelligence back to the United States. Then he gets retrieved through his handlers back to be extricated to the U.S. Comes back over here, spent some time down in New Orleans, and then it seems like, it was right around this time that the Bay of Pigs happened, and Kennedy pulled the plug on military support for the CIA's plan to invade Cuba, and the CIA was pissed at Kennedy, as were virtually every Cuban in America hates JFK because he was supposed to support their guys on the beach. The military didn't show up. They got slaughtered on the beach, and then Castro was emboldened because he withstood an invasion from the United States. The CIA was furious with Kennedy after that, furious with him. And the speculation is that they used JFK with some of his handlers that were high up in the CIA that were eventually put in charge of some of the investigations, that they used Oswald along with a partner to kill JFK. And there's actually, I had never heard about this, but there was a super right-wing general at the time down in Louisiana, and it was General Walker. And so Oswald, who was purportedly a giant leftist, teamed up with Robert Surrey, who was like a fascist, borderline Nazi guy, and a bullet was fired into this general's house, and they identified the bullet as coming from the same gun as the one that killed Kennedy. After that bullet was shot into this general's house, a witness watched a guy, JFK, and another person get into two separate cars and drive away from the scene of that shooting. And the speculation is that it was Robert Surrey, the fascist guy who was also working with the CIA, that teamed up with him. And then Operation Northwoods came out later when they had to declassify a bunch of CIA documents. Operation Northwoods was the CIA plot to hijack an American airline and then crash it and then blame it on Fidel Castro, which would then prompt the United States people to support a war against Cuba, an invasion of Cuba. It was an actual CIA plan. Kennedy found out about it, said, fuck no, we're not going to do this. But the same false flag sentiment could hold true for the Kennedy assassination, where the CIA kills Kennedy and then America teams up because we're like, oh, this guy was a communist that shot our president. Let's invade Cuba. It turned out that it didn't happen. LBJ kind of put the kibosh on that a little bit. But the speculation is that was the plan. And given what just came out on Saturday about there probably being two shooters in it, people are talking about the CIA involvement more and more in the Kennedy assassination.
Do you believe that?
I think the CIA definitely. Well, it's proven that they had a file on Lee Harvey Oswald that they kept very close tabs on
That seems plausible, though. I mean, a guy who killed the president, like, so often, the FBI knew about the Boston bombers before they did it.
Yeah.
Like, they had heard about them. So, like, that seems plausible. I just don't. If the CIA had a hand in killing the president, some people would have to know about that.
Yeah, CIA people.
Like, quite a few people. Or I assume that you would keep your circle tight, but
yeah.
people with very high-ranking jobs would know about it. It seems very suspect to me.
So one guy that was one of Kennedy's like one of Oswald's close handlers at the CIA that kept the closest tabs on his file, and his file even going way back before he defected while he was over in Russia. His file was only viewable by like a very, very small amount of people. They kept it under high security levels. So it wasn't like a normal file that the CIA would have on somebody. It was like very restricted. And I feel it's possible because the guy that was in charge of maintaining like the closest watch over his file, he was going to be asked to testify. He was going to be subpoenaed, and he shot himself right before the deposition or his testimony, whatever that was.
Where was Bill Clinton?
Where's Bill Clinton? Well, good question. I know that Hillary was involved with the whole Nixon prosecution, not too far after the fact. She was probably around. You never
Just
know.
asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
JFK was quoted saying he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was very anti-CIA. A lot of presidents have been. Like, there's been a lot of talk over the past 40 years about disbanding the CIA. It's never made much progress.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think, I don't know, Billy, I know that you did a whole fact sheet on the CIA. You want to start at the beginning with us?
Well, if we want to start when it was created, I mean, a lot of the CIA was inspired by British intelligence. And that was something the British were always, we talk about World War II. It was one with U.S. steel, British intelligence, and Russian blood. So the British, for hundreds of years, have always had great spies. Their empire was, the flow of information was integral to their empire. So us Americans, like a lot of our, military habits, we copied the British. So in 1941, the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, was established to help information and reconnaissance during World War II, to do espionage, sabotage, and other covert activities. The history of spies in America dates back to the Revolution, where a lot of prostitutes were actually huge spies for the Americans, because especially in New York City, because they used to eavesdrop in on officers who were on leave in the former New Amsterdam. But yeah, so we've always used spies.
Yeah.
This was our first formal organization for the war effort. And then in July 26, 1947, the National Security Act is signed into law, which created the CIA. So yeah, one of its first moves was to do something we've seen time and after again in the 20th century, was they overthrew the democratically elected government of Iran in 1948 and installed a pro-American dictator. And this was sort of the first of many types of moves they did in the 20th century, but that was sort of their origin. I don't know if anybody else has any
I just know, like, that
past that era.
That like coup in Iran is kind of the origin story for why the Middle East just hates America so much.
Yeah.
When they had just democratically elected this guy in America, like the CIA immediately said, nope, that's not going to work, and then funded the coup.
That was the Shah, right?
Yeah, they put someone else in power. Like, yeah, they kind of put the Shah back in power.
And didn't the Shah, Donnie, do you remember we did that that extra dose on that party the Shah threw in 1983?
Yes.
Was it? They
Yeah.
had like the biggest party ever.
It was the most expensive party of all time. I don't know if it was his birthday party, if it was like celebrating the anniversary of the Persian Empire or something like that.
It was the 2000 year anniversary of the empire.
Yeah.
But yeah, in 1953, they overthrew the government of Guatemala. 54, they overthrew the government of the Philippines. And in 59, they were trying to overthrow the government of Cuba. And that's when they started training Cuban exiles. 61 is when the Bay of Pigs failed. So the CIA, was like basically doing the heavy lifting of our foreign policy during those post-World War II years when, everyone was tired of real hot war and we had this Cold War going on. And we executed, trying to establish democracy and ensure the spread of communism didn't occur in post-World War II. So that's where the CIA did a lot of their work. And they, I think the reason why the CIA sort of thought themselves to be so important and like that, even though we had a democracy and elected leaders to make decisions on what America should do, I think that their belief that their work was superior in ensuring capitalism spread, in ensuring democracy spread, because democracies don't wage war on each other. Capitalism causes peace through trade. That superseded everything. That superseded the U.S. Constitution. So why they might have killed Kennedy, they might have killed RFK, because of their, unwillingness to allow the CIA to sort of do their bidding across the world.
Also, if you're a CIA agent, you probably feel like you're Superman because of spy movies. Spy movies have done a great job of, it's like propaganda for actual spies. It just makes you seem like you're the coolest person in the world. Whereas in real life, you're probably behind a desk most of the time, and then you're just like having a couple secret meetings here and there. But there's like very few people that actually go boots on the ground, like injecting people with poison.
Yeah.
That'd be so sick, though.
It would be sick, wouldn't it?
That's like top 5 sickest job in the world.
You would think
injecting people with poison?
Well, just being a CIA agent who's actually going out into the field and doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Well,
like
one of the
professional athlete, CIA agent,
astronaut
would be cool. You have to be like, that requires a lot of, so is being a CIA agent.
Navy SEAL.
Astronauts aren't really
pretty cool.
doing too much these days either.
I met up with a dude I knew kind of in high school. He played on a competing lacrosse team. He's a Navy SEAL now, and he just does crazy missions in Africa, and then they just give Israel the credit for it, just like to not cause international outcry.
It sounds like this guy should have kept his mouth shut.
I was going to say, is he supposed to be telling you that, and are you supposed to be telling us that?
Or I'll just tell Billy. Billy won't say anything.
Well,
yep. Okay. Well,
moving on. In 1950,
wait, Billy. Let's get back to talking about cool jobs. I feel like being a spy would. It seems like it would be really awesome, but I also feel like if you talk to CIA agents, which we will in a second, some of them are probably just really bored. The movie Homeland, or the TV show Homeland, makes being a spy look like it's incredible fun, and like Mission Impossible looks like incredible fun. I just don't know if it'd be that fun all the time.
It's got to be pretty scary too, in some situations.
Yeah, if you're one of the people, the knock list, was that non-official cover list? So the knocks are the actual spies, like we think of spies. Most people that work for the CIA in counterintelligence, I feel like they're recruiters. So they go overseas under the guise of, they have like a diplomatic passport, or they might have like a fake cover job that they do over there. But they're officially like they're working for the U.S. government. But then there are other people that are on the knock list with no official cover, who are over there just kind of like on their own. Those are the people that you'll never ever hear about.
Yeah, so the CIA recruits them to help with their objectives, and then if they get caught, then it's like, all right, you're fucked. No one's going to help you.
There are those people, and then there's people that like actually work and are from whatever country you're in.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you develop relationships and friendships with them, and you figure out a way that, okay, them working for you is more beneficial to their family or to them than them working for their actual government or their real job or whatever. And then that's how you make them like turn on people.
Yeah.
During the Cold War, a lot of teachers was their cover job because they'd go over because there was a lot of educational over, like they'd send like Russians would send students to the US would send students to Russia, and they'd be sending them with a lot of teachers. So some of these teachers were actually CIA agents.
I'd
That
be
was
so
like
pissed
a
off
big
if
cover.
I was actually a teacher overseas, and then like 2 people in every school were CIA agents, and then people would they would just think that you were a CIA. They would think you were a spy.
Mhm.
And I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm just over here trying to actually teach.
Well, that's actually happening with China now. Like a lot of Chinese graduate students in the U.S., some of them are spies for China. But now if you're just like a normal Chinese graduate student, you're like, God damn it, everyone thinks I'm a spy.
Yeah, you're in like a class that teaches you how to build semiconductors,
Yeah.
but you just really want to learn how to do it. Like that's your
Yeah.
job. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, no, you're sending this technology back for sure.
Well,
Mhm.
technically, don't all students, now correct me if I'm wrong, Donnie, but don't they all have to, like students who go to school in the US from China, don't they have to do some sort of like swear their allegiance to the CCP?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, wait, so like before they leave
Yeah.
China for the U.S., they need to like what? Like, what are they?
Yeah. Or they won't
swear-
be allowed
like,
to go.
I mean, is it just like a swear? What are they swearing on? It's like, all
I
right.
like that they'll like act
like
in the best interests.
Secret clubhouse type.
Maybe
vibe.
they have to swear that they're not going to like defect to the U.S. They're just like, I'm going to go to graduate school in the U.S. and then come back to China because
Yeah.
China does. They don't want like a brain drain where all their smartest
Yeah.
kids are just going to school in the U.S. and staying there.
China forces
could be the-
students to pledge loyalty to CCP weekly.
That's
I don't know if
you
this
gotta-
is
That,
You got to
Wait,
go.
what?
You,
is
you
it like
gotta
the
go,
Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, you have to do this either every single day or like once before you go. You can't do it
It is
weekly.
mandatory
Check in.
Zoom meeting every
Zoom
Wednesday
in.
at 3 to say, hey, you still fucking with China, correct? Correct.
The U.S. government, when we were looking for Bin Laden, I don't know if it was. I think it was the CIA. We sent people door to door, promoting vaccinations.
Yes, I was reading about this.
because we were trying to find Bin Laden's DNA and make sure that it was actually him in there. So we had people posing as doctors, or maybe we used actual doctors with the Red Cross, I think.
Yeah.
And so we're saying, okay, you need to be vaccinated against these things. Oh, we have a new vaccine that you have to take.
Be the first time they did that.
It was under the guise of getting Bin Laden's DNA and double checking it to make sure that it was actually him there. They fucked that up because now actual aid workers can't do that anymore.
Yeah, now like a lot of Pakistan's probably anti-vax because
Yeah.
they're like, it's
That's a
just some
goofy
fucking
plan.
plot by the
Like-
CIA.
Yeah.
There be nobody in these meetings to be like, hey, boss, that's fucking stupid, boss. We should not be. That's fucking dumb.
I would love to see some ideas that the CIA has scrapped.
There was
Oh.
one. I have one for you. They were trying to train cats to be spies.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So they have you ever tried to like get a cat to do anything? Ever?
They don't know their names.
They don't listen. Cats hate you.
They
If you-
domesticate humans.
If you own a cat, congrats, you have a living animal in your house that wants to hurt you. Like these things are untrainable, and so the CIA tried to train a cat to be a spy. It was a big project that they had, and in the first field study of how this trained cat was going to do, the cat just ran out into the middle of the street and got hit by a car, and then that's it. And then they're like, okay, maybe we won't do the cat spy thing.
Sounds like cat propaganda, though. You know,
do you mean?
Propaganda.
just coming from a dog guy. This just sounds like a lot of cat propaganda.
Anti-cat.
Yeah,
Wait, I mean, you think that a cat would make a good spy? A dog
No.
would be a million times better spy.
Cat
than a
doesn't even make a good pet.
Correct.
no, I'm just saying it sounds like propaganda. Like
You tell me how to make a cat work.
I don't fuck with cats. Either,
The
bro.
only
I'm just
thing
saying
they'll
it
do
sounds
is-
like you banging on cats because you like dogs more. That's all I'm saying.
The only thing cats are good for is pest control.
Yeah.
They're very good at
I don't get people that own cats. I really don't understand that. It's just like you're just you're supposed to keep them alive, and they don't really care about you like that. Like I don't understand that shit at all.
So for some reason, like in certain cultures, women who love cats are supposed to be more desirable.
That's really strange.
I know. It was like in like old Viking times, if there was a woman who like loved cats, they were like supposed to be like the best. I don't
feel
know
like
where
we
that comes
kind
from.
It's
of
like
got
most-
the inverse of that.
Yeah,
That's
now
what
it's
I'm saying.
like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, that's a crazy
single-
cat lady.
Yeah.
Maybe most single old women
Yeah.
all have cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have like 6 cats and you're a single female, there's no bigger red flag in the world.
Yeah, at that point, you have completely given up on finding a husband.
You can be a crazy cat family together and get cats after you get married. That's fine.
Mhm.
But if you have 6 cats that are like your friends and they live in your house,
Yeah.
What
yeah,
is the
stay far away.
psychology for wanting so many pets? Like, it's in general. I'm asking pet people right now.
So I think with cats, because it's so hard to earn their affection and their trust and their love, that when your cat occasionally will like curl up next to you on a couch and sleep next to you, it's like a big deal.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
with a dog, they'll do that. Like, congratulations, you came home from work. Now your dog's going to be just by your side, loving you the entire time. With a cat, you have to really work for.
Yeah.
Who wants-
It's
who
kind of
wants
like
to work for that.
it's kind
You
of
have
like
to-
how the douchebag gets the girl.
I was going to say you have to like rizz up a cat.
Yeah.
You don't have to rizz up a dog. The dog just the dog is a stage 5 clinger, but we love him.
Pre-rizzed.
Pre-riz. Yeah. I like my pets pre-riz.
Do you guys know any single males who have cats?
No, I mean that's way
Yeah.
worse than a woman.
KB like loves cats, and then he really wanted one. He recently got one, but I think that was around the same time that he moved in with his girlfriend. And maybe the reason he moved in with his girlfriend just because he didn't want to be a single dude alone with a cat.
I mean, I can't speak for women. Maybe Mackenzie could chime in, but like I feel if I went out on a date with a girl and she was like, "Oh, I have a cat," like okay. But if a girl went out with a dude who was single and had a cat, that would be a major problem.
But
Yeah.
It's
I feel-
interesting.
That would give you the ick.
But a dog would be
No.
a plus.
Yes, I also am skewed because I don't really love cats, so I would just kind of be like, I don't know if I would really be like. It would definitely be weirder than having a dog. Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I
I don't know if I'd be like, ugh, like I hate him now, but it would definitely be a turnoff for me.
I do like kittens, but I'm not big on cats.
That's like me with humans. I like babies, but I don't like adults.
That's
I don't know how reputable this is, but this is the psychology behind dog people and cat people. This is NorthShorePetResort.com. Dog people are more outgoing. Multiple studies have shown that dog owners or dog lovers are much more sociable people compared to cat people. They call them doggos. Doggos, as a
Oh
general
my
rule,
God.
tend to be
What
more
website is this?
extrovert. It's the psychology of, I don't know. I just found this shit on the. But he said that. So doggos, as a general rule, tend to be more extroverted and enjoy human company. I mean, that's fairly safe to assume. If we assume humans are more drawn to the kind of animals that they are similar to, then it would make sense. Oh, Jesus, bro. Since their owners would tend to be more extroverted. For example, when a dog person feels stimulated by companionship and social situations, a cat person may prefer to relax on a sofa with a good book. In fact, one study, and it has this study, which I'm not going to click on, shows that cat owners are more likely to live alone and in an apartment. Here's the inverse. Cat people are more intelligent. While most studies show that cat people are introverted and generally like to spend more time alone, there are also a lot of evidence to suggest that these people who love kittens tend to be more naturally intelligent. In a personality experiment carried out on the U.S., I also have the link to 600 college students were asked about their pet preference and then asked a series of questions to determine their intelligence levels. The outcome showed that the majority of cat people achieved higher scores than the other participants. How about that?
Anything about frog owners? What it means if you have an absurd amount of frogs?
More likely to commit homicide.
Just like to chill by the pool and just call for mates.
Catch flies.
Sit by the pool and just like
Fly
croak.
honeys.
That's interesting. I mean, the cat owners that I know, yeah, like quiet people that are more introverted. I don't know if it says anything about like it has nothing to do with the cat. It's just that if you're a person that likes to hang out and read more frequently.
Here's a good. Dog people are more likely to tolerate cats, but cat people hate dogs.
Yeah.
That's true. That's probably true. I think cat owners are just like antithetical to like dog people in general. And so it's like if you like dogs and shit, like cat owners would be like, man, fuck dogs. Like me. They're like me, except I don't like cats either.
I'll bet you there was one huge cat person in the CIA that was like, I've got a great idea. My cat is so different. My cat, Mr. Brickles, is going to be able to carry out this mission perfectly.
Names are all like that too. Cats got way whacker names than dogs, and we'll give dog owners that.
Yeah, dog names are great. I love just looking at dogs and imagining to myself what their name would be.
Okay,
That's Otis.
I feel like this is a solid statement. Across the board, Huskies have way better names than every other dog.
Yeah.
They're way more creative. I don't know what it is about Husky owners, but they give their dog names way more. Because I used to have a Husky. That was the only dog I ever had, and we named him Yoko. And so like naturally you go around other people who have Huskies, and every single time like you meet a Husky owner, it's some wild, like creative anime type wild name where it's like, yo, this is Steve, or this is Bucko, or this is, you know what I'm saying? Like Husky owners are very creative with their names. I will give them that.
They usually have northern tribe names.
Yeah, or Asian.
Like sled dog names.
I was talking about the Huskies I know in America. I can't speak for the
I think I like
America.
I like Husky dog names. You're right. I think that by and large, from my experience at least, I would agree with you on that. Also, like pugs and bulldogs have great names usually too.
Pugs are the ones that can't breathe, right?
Yeah.
Pugs shouldn't exist.
They be struggling. Every pug I've ever seen.
Billy's like the Hitler for pugs.
Some types of bulldogs really struggle breathing too.
Yeah.
Ain't they bred like that though?
Ain't they what?
Isn't that like it's a reason why they can't breed pugs anyway, right? Like they're bred a certain way and like they don't last.
Yeah,
long.
there's like their snouts and stuff. They can't.
That's why they shouldn't exist. Because they have a terrible quality of life.
Damn, you trying to kill all the pugs, Billy?
I'm not trying to kill all the pugs. Maybe just improve the breeding standards. They're doing that with French bulldogs. French bulldogs also shouldn't exist.
Wow.
I mean,
sounds like genocide.
No,
you could say that about all
it's animal
dogs.
cruelty. This isn't anything.
They have a right to life, Billy.
Yeah, but not when people are like, it's just unhealthy dogs. It's cruel to the dog.
I'm just joking with you. I don't give a fuck if
Yeah.
they die, bro. Okay.
People in Chicago are getting robbed for French bulldogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They're expensive.
because they're so expensive.
What are they like? $2K a dog?
Ask
At
Jerry. Jersey Jerry breeds them, and
Well,
it's a very unnatural process.
He doesn't anymore, but yeah, Jerry has a very
Does he use the turkey
intricate
baster?
process.
Yeah.
He'll like jack off his dog.
That's brazy. No, he doesn't, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, he's not getting dogs off. Is he really?
I've
Yeah.
proudly never touched my dog's boner.
him and
Is
Israel
that
Adesanya.
how's that not bestiality?
It's like it's studying. It's like agriculture.
It's for science.
Speaking of,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, he jacks it off, and then you collect the semen, and it's a whole process. I mean, look at how they breed racehorses.
Yeah, Donnie and I had a whole conversation about artificial insemination in the home with
In the
turkey
home?
basters.
yeah, I was curious if that would work.
People do it all the time. Like if they don't want to pay a ton of money to go to a sperm bank, they'll like find a surrogate they know and
To jizz in a turkey baster,
and use it.
And then
That is
just-
the application.
lube it up, shove it in, and squeeze.
Deposit, yeah.
That's all it takes.
When you're ovulating, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how long does sperm survive though? Like just like in
If you keep it
open
cold,
air. I thought you're supposed to keep it warm.
Yeah, 'cause
no,
it has to
keep
be
it
that-
cold. Warm
No, it
kills
has
it.
to-
That's why you don't sit in a. That's why you don't sit in a hot tub.
I think
That's why your testicles are outside of your body because
I think
sperm thrive
it's
in
to
cold.
it's to regulate. It's not. It's like slightly colder than 98 degrees. But I don't think it can be cold. I think it has to be like in that perfect just right zone.
I'd make a bet because you can freeze sperm
You
and
might be
still
right.
use
Yeah.
it.
You might
But
be right.
cold is better.
Yeah, I mean, I assume sperm banks keep all that in a freezer.
The best
Yeah.
temperature to keep semen in order to preserve sperm motility, can't believe I'm Googling this on my work computer, is 20 degrees Celsius. So that's like
Okay.
67. That's room temperature.
Yeah.
Wait,
like
I'm
a
getting-
wine, like a white wine.
I'm getting something else. It said it is not possible to successfully freeze sperm at home. Sperm freezing needs to happen in a laboratory with proper quality controls in place. The temperature of an average home freezer is about minus 18 degrees centigrade. Sperm needs to be stored at minus 196 degrees centigrade. I'm not doing that conversion. What is?
I'm going to buy a sperm freezer.
It says 20 degrees Celsius, which is 68
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
that'd be perfect
Okay.
for white wine.
There's the mini fridge. There's the sperm fridge. There's the sperm freezer.
Here, this is a good year. Let's uncork this.
Yeah.
Arian, is that scene from Ballers like where the woman spits it into like a capsule and puts it in the champagne bucket of ice? Is that like a legit thing that happens amongst pro athletes that you've heard of?
I've never heard of that shit, but I mean, shit, I won't get too, but like, yeah, women try to get men pregnant all the time. Especially, yeah, they lie, they poke holes in condoms. I heard stories, but yeah, that shit happens all the time.
There was an advisory that went out. I think it was to the NBA. There was like some girl that was sleeping with players, and then she would take the condom out of the trash can,
Yeah,
and then they were like, "Hey,
It's
make
an-
sure that you throw away
you
throw away your shit."
it's an industry, bro. Yeah, they tell you that too. They say make sure you flush that, like in like rookie symposiums and stuff. They'll tell you flush your condoms down the toilet. Like make sure you dispose of them because people will keep that stuff. And so it's like that. But this is what I say. It's an industry, man. But the courts incentivize this shit. If you do away with child support, and you do away with getting any percentage of your like this shit goes away. Then you're just gonna have to co-parent. All this shit could go away.
Mhm.
But
Wait.
I digress.
That scene might have been in Ray Donovan. There's just this crazy scene where a woman like spits out into a capsule, puts it on ice in the champagne bucket, and then gets pregnant.
I've never heard of that specific instance, but I have heard of women poking holes in condoms and doing.
Should we get back to the CIA?
Yeah. Actually, some huge CIA news dropped yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a whistleblower who came out. So the CIA had like a COVID origin team, and their job was to figure out where COVID-19 came from. And like 6 of the 7 operatives came to the conclusion that it leaked from a lab. But then they were then bribed financially to say that no, it just happened naturally.
Who
So-
bribed him?
The CIA like bribed their own employees to
Nah,
say that,
conspiracy theory. It
that
was
it-
a bat.
which
Wow,
is
that one
wild.
was true.
I know, but like, so I'm trying to think about why the CIA did that.
Because
Because
the
they-
pangolins.
Is that because like the U.S. was involved with that lab too in Wuhan, or did they
That
just
function?
seems plausible.
All right, so
Yeah.
I'm reading this story right now. There's an unnamed CIA whistleblower that's alleged that 6 analysts were bribed to reject the theory that COVID-19 resulted from a research-related leak of a new coronavirus. So I guess it's somebody told a congressperson this, but the person hasn't. We don't know who this is coming from. Is what I'm saying.
No, but I mean,
I mean, if
it
this,
seems legit.
if it's true, then it's
Yeah.
big news.
This only dropped like yesterday. So yeah, I just don't know what was their motive to be like, no, it came from an animal and not a lab.
Maybe it's
But-
like,
But I
Maybe
mean,
if it was leaked on purpose or something.
or maybe it's like if we knew that it came from a lab in China and it was designed as a bioweapon and then it infected the entire world, then we would have to basically be at war against China, right?
yeah. But I do think that there was a lot of Americans working at that lab in Wuhan too.
Yeah.
Like hadn't Fauci done research there at one point in the past too? Or
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the details behind that.
Yeah.
I think there was some research going on there that was receiving NIH funding.
yeah,
What would happen if COVID was like a Chinese bioweapon that they deployed on the rest of the world? Like if they can say if it was an actual accident, then that's one thing. But what if it was a Chinese plot? What if that part? What if that conspiracy
let's say there was widespread protests. Let's say they didn't want to impact the rest of the world, but let's say there was widespread protests across China, Hong Kong, and the CCP was literally about to lose their grasp on the country, and they needed a way to destroy dissidents and be able to get away with it and control the entire population for a reason that wouldn't be like that would seem to be good natured.
Yeah. So what if it was proven that happened? What would the international? Well, no. Go back to my example, Billy. I know what you're saying. You're talking about like the Hong Kong protests, all that stuff. But what if my example ended up being true, where it was like China was trying to like destroy world trade? They were like going after the world, and they deployed this virus. What does the world do to respond to it?
I mean,
Nothing.
it would just. I mean, I think that scenario is unlikely.
Yeah.
I do think it is likely that it just accidentally leaked from the lab.
Yeah.
And that we were China, or that lab was like researching like the most contagious type of corona or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Like I think they were, what was it? Gain of function research. Isn't that what they were doing?
I think,
yeah. But
I think what that lab was trying to do was China has had a lot more outbreaks than we have, like SARS, whatnot. And what they were doing was trying to predict the next one so they could have a cure for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from what I can understand was what they were trying to do. Like they were just one step ahead by having the next mutation.
Yeah, that seems plausible.
I mean, did they release it on purpose? I mean, it did show that, you know, the only way to like really go after it was authoritarianism. If you weren't going to let it run its course and try to actually contain it, like authoritarianism is the only way to deal with it.
But
so it's kind of an attack on freedom.
Well, authoritarianism, it didn't really work out in the long run because then when the Omicron started to spread and China was still committed to zero COVID, it did not work because no matter what you do, Omicron is still going to spread. And then riots started up again in China, and they were like, okay, we just need to get rid of these restrictions or we're actually going to lose control of the country.
It would just be interesting to know what the world would do. Like, we don't want to have a war with China. That would be very, very bad. It would be like a disaster for everybody if there was war. But at the same time, it's like you can't have this government just killing millions of people across the planet.
Maybe the U.S. would just cut all ties with China. But even then, that's hard to do because
that would cripple our economy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're trying to do now is just establish more domestic supply chain, especially in the military.
Yeah,
because we can't afford to get into a point where if it does shut down like it did, you know.
Well, there's your answer to like why hypothetically people would lie and be bribed to say that actually it was just like a bat, because if the implication was we have to fight China in a war, then our own economy would be shit too.
But we could take China.
We got each other. But I know.
No, we could take China. Let's not act like we could.
We got way more aircraft carriers. The F-22 is unsurpassed by Chinese.
None of you motherfuckers is fighting nobody in China. Neither am I. Who the fuck is we? We are not fighting anybody. Y'all are bugging.
We as America. We're all one country.
I don't understand that shit though. Why do y'all do that? That nationalism shit. It's crazy. Yo. If America gets into war with China, millions of people are dying. Millions. Fuck this we shit. I'm out.
Where are you going?
But what about our aircraft carriers? They're sick.
But I'm not taking those stairs like we should fight China, huh?
We got all these cool toys that we get to use for the first time that we've just been spending trillions of dollars on for the last 30 years.
All those drones,
Kind of a waste not to use them.
Exactly.
all those UFOs and UAPs are supersonic drones that are able to take down nukes.
Dude, Arian, we've had our F-22 Lightning for the last 30 years, and it hasn't gotten to do shit except shoot down one weather balloon. That thing is just dying for combat. It's itching to be deployed on the field of battle.
I love that. I love that for you guys.
Really,
I'm skeptical about this report, though. Okay, so it says Representative Brad Winstrup, a Republican Ohio representative, he's in the House, says his panel and the House's Permit Select Committee on Intelligence have heard testimony from a whistleblower who presents as a highly credible senior level CIA officer. So, like, there hasn't been any evidence of this other than like hearsay. I mean, it could be the case, but I always err on the side of like skepticism. But I mean, there's nothing else to it, I guess. So
not yet, I guess.
Yeah, so he sent a letter to the CIA director William Burns requesting documents and communications about the agency's COVID discovery team, and so there hasn't really been any evidence.
I want all that shit to be public, though, like the COVID discovery team.
It absolutely should be. It absolutely should be.
Because I want to know.
This type shit, though, is what I be talking about. So it's like there should be no mention of it until we know. You know what I mean? Like there's just no, because it just creates sides and teams and shit. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
That's kind of what happened with the UFOs too. That was a whistleblower, but I mean, they haven't been able to present any concrete proof to the public yet.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Who's the realest whistleblower? What's buddy name?
Grush?
Nah.
Russia. Snowden.
Yeah, he had the evidence to back that shit up and said, "This is what's happening." Boop boop boop, and I'm out. That's whistleblowing. That is fucking with this other shit. Like it happens all the time. I don't be believing that shit.
Yeah, and he's there now, right?
I think he's in Russia. He's in like an undisclosed location. Yeah.
He's still
very much
because
wanted by the United States.
Do you think the CIA is still trying to get him?
I think so. Yeah,
they must be.
They're doing a good job keeping him secret.
Yeah, and
he's doing podcasts and shit. He's doing interviews.
Yeah. He does on Rogan, man.
Yeah,
he had I think I said this before, but he had retweeted one of my tweets because I had watched Snowden the movie, and I had never really paid attention to any of that shit. And I was like, yo, that was dope what he did. But and so I was tweeting about it. People were like, no, he's a traitor. And I was like, I didn't know there was so much anti-Snowden hate out there. And I was like, yo, they spying on you and you don't know. And so like I retweeted, I was like, yo, I wanted to see the optics. Like, is he a hero or is he a traitor? And I did like a little Twitter poll and it made it all the way to him and he retweeted it.
And that's interesting because I think most of the people who are anti-Snowden would more often than not be further left than right.
You think anti-Snowden people are?
Because it was Obama
I think
and Hillary.
So. I would think.
I don't think so. I think it's
like
this probably goes across the traditional left.
Yeah,
right.
I think this is like I think this is probably a bipartisan thing. Like I think most people, because the poll said that too. Most people think that what he did was valiant. Yes. I don't think this has anything to do with right or left, honestly.
I think there's definitely bipartisan agreement that more people than not would say that that was the correct thing to do than incorrect.
Well,
I would just think that more of the people who would disagree with it would be further left.
I think that if you're on the right, you can look at Snowden.
Because you know who really
central,
loves him?
Center left maybe, but the farther left you go, the more like they're not with government overreach like that.
I think it's such a unifying thing because you can look at Snowden and be like, he did this to Obama, so people on the right will be like hero, and then people on the left will be like, this was a Bush era program that was still functioning under Obama, hero. So it's like, okay, we can both get behind this one.
Common ground.
Well, you know who was the biggest fans of his? The QAnon Pizzagate people, because that's where they got all their clues from the emails he leaked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like the weirdest group of everybody.
Everybody's on board with Snowden.
We ever find out what happened with Pizzagate? I want to talk to somebody that's still like a diehard Pizzagate guy. Like, yeah, Hillary was drinking baby blood in the basement of this DC pizzeria. I feel like it kind of like evolved, and a lot of Pizzagate became like QAnon people. But I want to know if there's actual like legit Pizzagate
OG Pizzagate
believers. Yeah,
no, they all became QAnon.
Yeah, but is anybody still banging the drum on Pizzagate? Because if you truly believe that there was child trafficking going on in the basement of this restaurant, you shouldn't just like move on to the next shiny thing. You should be like, wait, no, these people were fucking children.
Yeah. Someone showed up and tried to shoot the place up, right?
Yeah, and say, I think we've talked about this on the show, but like say what you want about that guy. He was probably very, very misguided. But if you, in your heart of hearts, you believe that there's like a child slavery event going on in this restaurant, then that's what you should be doing.
He believed in something.
He believed in it. Good
So
for
did you
him.
throw that guy in jail if he truly believed he was doing something good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you
I mean,
can't do
yeah.
that.
Unless he went there and stopped it, but yeah, you can't just be going to everything that you believe in with a gun. Talk about so I'm here to end this shit.
It's like in National Treasure 2 when he kidnaps the president and to find the treasure under Mount Rushmore, and he's like, listen, like if you find it, I can help you, but if you don't, like you're gonna go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Which was a coward move, by the way, because he believed him so much so where he gave him the information of the secret scroll, told him there was a secret scroll, but still at the end of it said you're gonna go to. Why not just be like, let me know if you find something. I'll handle this. Don't worry about it. Like, you know he has good intentions. You're alive, B. That was a cowardly move, bro.
Made for a great movie, though. I might have to watch that tonight.
Every plane ride, I watched 1 and 2, bro. I love that movie.
I like 2 more than 1.
Ooh, tell me why.
I just like 2 a lot.
I don't think you can go wrong. I'm with you on this one, but
Like
I like to the reasons.
At the end when they're turning the wheel and like somebody's got to sacrifice themselves.
That part I didn't get either. My man has literally killed people to get to this point, and at the end he grew a heart and said, "Fuck it, I don't know."
Yeah, but he did it for the cause.
He did it, and valiantly enough, my man's held true to his name. He said, "My man's helped me out finding this shit," even though he really didn't. That was a real move.
When's the next one coming out? I remember that was in one of the first episodes we ever did a Macrodosing. We're like, it's coming out in 2024 or something.
Well, they came out with like a TV show that's kind of a spin-off.
I think that there's a National Treasure 3 though. Is it page 47 or what page number are we looking for? Remember the big mystery?
Is the TV show out now?
I believe so.
I hope the writers.
Oh wait, here's something from 2 days ago. National Treasure 3 release date, cast, plot, theories, and predictions.
Keanu Reeves.
What if we were hired to write it because of the writer's strike?
I'm
sure we could write it.
Scab out.
I would scab out if it meant I could write National Treasure 3.
National Treasure 3 would be so fun to write.
Yeah.
I need to watch National Treasure 2
man.
again because I watched it on, like you, Arian, like on an airplane, but I started it as the plane was like getting ready to land kind of. So I got through the first 45 minutes. Then I watched like the next 25 minutes during the layover. Then I finished it on the plane. And it doesn't seep in the right way. You got to watch it all at once.
Yeah, most definitely. That would actually be a fun Nanodoshin vibe. As we all said, we write a script to National Treasure 3, and like have somebody here like court reporting, and somebody comes in and says that would be fun as shit. Co-writing a script with y'all, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, first if we just get like all the major plot beats, then we can just extrapolate from there.
I like it.
Yeah.
Should we get back to the CIA?
Yeah, so there's some other CIA things that they've done. In August 1950, the CIA secretly purchased the assets of Civil Air Transport, an airline that had been started in China after World War II by General Claire Chennault and Whiting Willauer. CAT would continue to fly commercial routes throughout Asia, acting in every way as a privately owned commercial airline. At the same time, under the corporate guise of CAT Incorporated, it provided airplanes and crews for secret intelligence operations and missions. And then it was renamed Air America in 1959 and continued to fly commercial routes while providing transport for secret intelligence operations. So the CIA owned an entire airline that it would just use to fly their people around.
Do you think that there's a new one now? What companies do we think now might be CIA companies that we just don't know about?
Spirit.
United?
No, Spirit.
always going down.
No, because like Spirit mainly operates in the U.S. though. They don't really go international too often.
Spirit might be it might be like a Chinese.
Spirit's run by the FBI.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Just so that because people that buy Spirit Airlines tickets are more likely to be on some sort of watch list or wanted list.
Yes.
Yeah. They collect information. They can monitor like drug traffickers around the United States.
Who's flying Spirit? Hey, I have flown Spirit, and
So
it wasn't that bad actually.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
I mean, all the hidden fees suck, but as long as you know what you're paying for,
One of the most
if it's like a 2-hour flight.
One of the most interesting rides I ever took was Spirit to Las Vegas. That was a cool ride.
A lot of criminal records on that flight.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Another cool CIA project, Project Cold Feet. So basically the Soviets had a research station that was on floating ice island in the Arctic. So in 1961, the CIA secretly flew 2 Navy pilots to the Arctic who parachuted down onto the ice, but they didn't know how to retrieve them. So they did the classic secret agent movie thing where they had a hook and a plane came flying down close to the ground, hooked them and pulled them up.
And what were they supposed to do on the island?
On the island, they were retrieving any Soviet information they could because they abandoned it because they couldn't get to couldn't get to it anymore. But the U.S. did this weird maneuver where they literally had guys standing with like basically a hook to get picked up by a plane moving at however many miles per hour and just scoop them up.
That's insanely dangerous.
Yeah. It was an AB-17 PFT rigged with a sky hook that has now been it's in James Bond. They copied them.
Now the term Banana Republic has a lot to do with the CIA.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us some more about that, PFT?
No, you can talk about it, Donnie.
I only know the bare basics of it, but yeah, so Dole was like a giant American fruit company. Yeah. And then I don't know which country was it? Was it I think it was 2 different countries.
So there was
Honduras and Costa Rica.
There was also United Fruit Company.
Okay. And then I guess the current government of those countries wanted to nationalize the fruit industry. Mm-hmm. And CIA was like, no, we're getting those fruit profits. And then they overthrew the government.
Yeah, so a little history here of the United Fruit Company in Guatemala. They had a government ran by Jacobo Arbenez, and he was elected in 1950, and he was toppled by forces led by Colonel Armas, who invaded from Honduras. It was commissioned by the Eisenhower administration. The military operation was armed, trained, and organized by the CIA. The directors of United Fruit Company lobbied to convince the Truman and Eisenhower administrations that Colonel Arbenez intended to align with Guatemala and the Eastern Bloc, the Soviet Union. Besides the disputed use of their allegiance to communism, the United Fruit Company was being threatened by the Arbenz government's agrarian reform legislation and new labor code. They were the largest landowner and employer in Guatemala, and the government's land reform program included the expropriation of 40% of the United Fruit Company land. So they were trying to get rid of the United Fruit Company. U.S. officials had little proof to back their claims of a growing communist threat. However, the relationship between the Eisenhower administration and the fruit company demonstrated the influence of corporate interests on U.S. foreign policy. Secretary of State Dulles, an avowed opponent of communism, was also a member of the law firm Sullivan and Cromwell, which had represented United Fruit. His brother, Alan Dulles, was the director of the CIA, who was also a board member of United Fruit. United Fruit Company had a CIA cryptonym, which is a CIA name, fake name. The brother of the Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs, John Moores Cabot, had once been president of United Fruit. So yeah, we basically used fruit companies to install our own governments and fight for policies that we thought was beneficial to the United States, no matter what was going on in that company or in that country amongst their own people. Pretty wild stuff. We also engineered the coup in Chile, where it was Pinochet taking over for Allende. I don't know how you would say it if you're actually from Chile. But basically, Nixon told the CIA that we needed to fuck up the economy in Chile to prevent Allende from coming to power or to unseat him. So we installed our own fascist, actually a fascist in Pinochet, that took over the government, filled up Santiago Stadium in Chile with political dissidents, and then executed hundreds of them in their main soccer stadium that they have there. And then he would take some of his other opponents, and they would call them like helicopter rides. They would fly out of the city and then just push them out of a helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the most fucked up thing that the CIA has done. Like, so many of the people that we put in power were horrible people.
Yeah.
But they were very anti-communist. So CIA was like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
That was Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, who's still alive.
That's wild.
I can't believe that dude hasn't died yet. He's
actually younger than Joe Biden.
Is he really?
No, I'm not sure.
I was gonna say, there's no chance. He is an all-time FUPA guy too. Kissinger.
Oh yeah.
Look up pictures of Kissinger. That guy is he's packing some heat underneath the belt line there.
He's also 100 years. He's 100 years old, bro.
That dude needs to die. I can't believe that guy hasn't died yet. He's like the worst human being. Bombed so many countries. Was responsible for so much bad shit in Vietnam. So much bad shit in Cambodia. And all these like overthrow situations that we've had. This guy was in charge of it. He's one of the smartest people in the world, and he dedicated his life to just the stupidest shit of all time. This guy, there will be a lot of joy in the world when that guy dies.
Why would this dude Kissinger was a Jewish refugee who fled Nazi Germany, but then he just started propping up fascist governments in South America?
Yeah, he did a lot of bad shit. Yeah.
What?
Well, it was part of the USA's Cold War strategy. They're like, the only thing that matters is that we just like keep all governments anti-communist.
Yeah.
What keeps you alive at 100 years old? Like,
I think you just aren't allowed to come into heaven.
No, I'm talking about like.
Good point, Billy. You're scared that when you do die, that you're going to go to hell. Yeah,
like, just like motivationally, I'm thinking like you wake up and you're like, another day of this shit here, dog. Like, I'm already a pessimist at 30 years old, so it's like, how are these motherfuckers at 100 waking up just like happy to be here? I don't get it, dog.
Have you guys seen Blue Zones on Netflix? We almost had what's his face on to promote it. The guy who stars in it, but it's actually fascinating. Like, they basically went to all the different places in the world where people generally live past 95, 100. Okinawa, Japan's one of the places. And like, one of the biggest things they figured out was that there was the first one was that exercise was built into a lot of these people's everyday routine. So villages with steep incline, where the village is built on the side of a hill, tend to live longer because it takes more energy expended to like just travel around town and run errands, because you're like going uphill so much. And then in Okinawa, there's this like culture of gardening, and in Japanese culture, there's not that many like seats. I might be getting this wrong, but there's not as many seats. So there's a lot of squatting down and standing up. So there's just these people are doing squats all day. And it's just like,
Hoon squat's huge out there. Not a lot of seats. If you're waiting for a bus, you just got to pop a squat.
Am I getting that right, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, in Japanese culture, they usually have those tables low to the ground.
Yeah.
You're actually like eating on the ground, not seated. Yeah. My grandma lived to 103.
Wow.
And she was, at that point, she was like, family's the only thing keeping me alive, because like literally all of her friends had passed away. Like, I don't think she had a single friend still alive, but
like you see everybody that you knew to be alive, you know what I'm saying, that you loved, like, except for your family, died. That's depressing, dog. Holy shit. I seen this one, there was this video. It's this grandma, old grandma's like 94, and they was having a birthday, and she just sitting there like all fucking bored, and they all singing happy birthday, and happy birthday, grandma. She goes, Thanks. I hope this is my last one.
Yeah.
The CIA is also doing black sites. We still got those.
Yeah.
So basically, we rent out warehouses in countries that aren't technically U.S. soil. So then we'll capture a terrorist or a suspected terrorist, and then we'll fly them to this other country, put them in a building, and then we get to interrogate them, torture them, and Aaron, enhanced interrogation.
Enhanced interrogation technique.
Thailand.
If
Thailand
remember,
was a big one.
like after the invasion of Iraq, all the different like euphemisms that we would use for shit in those first 3 years were just wild. Donald Rumsfeld would come out and give his press briefing, and all of a sudden he's like, "They're not enemy soldiers. We need to stop saying they're enemy soldiers. They're combatants. They're enemy combatants."
Okay.
Because that means that the laws of the Geneva Convention don't apply to them.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Just call them something else. It's not torture. It's enhanced interrogation techniques like applying electric shocks to people's nipples and waterboarding them and beating the fuck out of them.
And playing horrible, like loud music, 24 hours. Like,
Yeah.
The CIA event waterboarding, right? Like we started that shit, right?
I think that's
so.
an ancient technique.
Have you ever been waterboarded?
You're thinking
Yeah.
of Chinese water torture.
Which
is when they just-
I know that.
Okay, yeah.
Beer boarding. I've been.
Nah, I tried waterboard because I was like skeptical. I think one of my homies was like in the army or some shit, and I was like, bro, like just hold your breath. You'll be all right. He's like, no, you won't. And so I was like, do it. And so I did it. That shit is no sir. No
Yeah.
works.
You do
I did
feel
it
like
with
you're-
beer
yeah.
once.
What? Were you just trying to chug a beer and then accidentally?
No.
Waterboarded
We
yourself?
did washcloth. It was
Oh, okay, yeah,
The boys
It was-
beer boarded.
yeah. Williams College.
not
That's a
there.
staple. Okay.
Nope. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
The CIA used inflatable sex dolls to fool the KGB. So I had this idea where if an agent had to escape someone tailing them, be it like they were, in a foreign country trying to like get from A to B with documents or whatnot, in order to distract the agent, let's say they're trying to move in public without getting caught, like turning a corner and then just having an inflatable blow up sex doll that would just pop out to confuse whoever's chasing them was an idea they had on the table. I think they did make it. Yeah, they did. So the dolls were stored in unremarkable containers, like a fake birthday cake, and would be rigged to unfurl and blow up when needed. They were called Jack in the Boxes, and agents would just throw them behind them when they were trying to lose people following them.
Because then they're just like, oh shit, they threw out a body. We got to see who it is.
No, it was like if you turn a corner, it was much more like slapstick comedy. Like this guy turned a corner, I got to go follow him. Turn the corner, boom, sex doll, and it gives them an extra second to get away.
Okay, it's absurd.
Back
There
to
was
different
also-
types, advanced interrogation.
Yeah.
Two big things they were big on, especially in the torture facilities and Guantanamo Bay, was constant rectal examinations and rectal cleanouts.
That just sounds like rape.
Yeah,
A rectal cleanout.
Like what's different from rape and that?
rectal rehydration was the term.
Oh yeah,
So just putting like a hose in your ass.
yeah. I've heard of that. Like especially if there's a prison or a hunger strike in a prison. Which, by the way, pretty cucked that we just take a slice of Cuba and we're like, yeah, this is ours. It's Guantanamo Bay. We're gonna have a military installation there. We're gonna put the most violent terrorists in the world there. Cuba, you're cool with that, right?
Yeah, I don't think Cuba had a choice.
Yeah.
I forget how we originally got that land.
Yeah,
but-
I always thought, which is wrong, this is wrong, but I thought that was the little bit of land we got during the Bay of Pigs, and we made it our like torture spot. But that's
Yeah.
totally wrong. That's not how we got it.
Yeah, so it's the rehydration. It's like if somebody's on a hunger strike in prison, then you can force feed them, and I guess you can rectally rehydrate them. But maybe if they're just being held in a cell without food or water, and you're trying to torture them, and the only way that they can get water is just up their ass.
Jeez.
Yeah, and there's definitely still black sites everywhere.
Yeah. Black sites are crazy. Like, imagine if you're in the Taliban and then you get captured by the Americans blindfolded, and then you just end up in Thailand or Cuba or something like that. Like, do you think those people know where they are?
No.
Or they just wake up and they're in a room and they're being tortured for information?
Yeah, they're in a room with Satan. That's as far as they get with it.
Do they ever find out where they are? Like, because I know a lot of the prisoners were eventually freed from Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Like, is there a yard in Guantanamo Bay and then they walk outside? They're like, this doesn't seem like the Middle East.
It's
It actually,
nice here. Yeah. There's coconuts on that tree.
Yeah.
I
Mojitos?
yeah, we'll bring by rum and coke for you.
Yeah.
That taxi cab looks like it's from the 1950s. That's pretty cool.
They took me back in time.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
Back when torture was definitely legal.
Yo, we should actually do that. We should build like a fake city in the United States that's from like 1910, filled with actors and filled with like just everything, like no technology past that point. And then we put a prisoner there that we're interrogating, and we're like, we have the ability to go back in time.
That shit would be fire.
Make it,
You know,
do
you
the
know, it was a
Truman Show.
prank I saw.
Yeah, Truman Show. Then Truman Show him.
Yeah, you bring them back in time. You're like, listen, the Taliban doesn't even exist anymore. Like,
Yeah.
that's way in the future. So
Tell us all
what's the
the
harm in
secrets.
telling us?
Yeah.
You know what prank did? I saw a prank happen that is like pretty cruel. There's this guy who like had a drinking problem, and he would like, if he was too drunk to drive home from the bar, he'd fall asleep in his truck. So his buddies noticed him doing this. So what they did was they kidnapped him and then put him in a fake hospital room. And then when he woke up, they told him that he'd been in a coma, and he drove home and he'd been in a coma for 10 years and like said all this stuff and like played false video. And the video is Hillary Clinton's now the president. And it was like 5 years later, a couple years later. And the guy was like, what the fuck? And he was like, I want to see my daughter. And his daughter was young at the time. And they just brought out this girl who like kind of looked like his daughter, but older. And he like, it was a full mind fuck.
And did it
cool
like
as shit?
And it was
help
like,
him?
stop drinking.
Was there like a motivation to make him stop drinking, or was it just to fuck with him?
that probably led to him drinking more.
Or
That shit is traumatizing.
it was either stop drinking and driving or stop drinking. I don't remember what the
I
point
thought he
was.
wasn't drinking and I thought he was falling asleep in his truck. Because
Yeah,
the
but-
story, I was like, that's pretty
That's
cool.
That was
You can
only
get
if
a
he was
DUI
too
doing
drunk
that.
to even drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
But,
like, they're like, you've been in a coma. Oh, your daughter's dead. I bet you want to stop drinking now, don't you?
Yeah.
I bet you'll think twice before having this delicious, mind-erasing bottle of scotch.
Yeah. Now, if they had just woke him up in the hospital and been like, oh, on your ride home last night, you were hammered and killed a family of 4. Like, that would probably really drive home the point. Like,
Yeah.
don't drink and drive.
That would be the absolute worst right there, though.
Yeah.
God, that would be.
I mean, and that's
horrible.
reality for a lot of people who
No, 1,000%.
ride
Yeah,
blind out.
just I just because like you ever had a dream where you wake up. I had a dream that I was on trial for murder, and I got convicted, and I woke up like I'm free. Holy
Yes.
shit! It's one of the most relieving feelings in the world. But like that gut wrenching, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh my god, that would be horrible, though.
But the relief when you wake up in the morning, kind
It's
of.
yeah,
it's
that's
awesome.
why I think
It's a great way
Yeah.
to start the day. Like, oh my God.
I wouldn't
Like,
say
this is my reality.
I want to say a great way to start the day. It's pretty.
No, but I mean, compared to like, oh shit, here's another day of boring.
yeah, like
Fuck
sometimes
this.
if you,
It's like, thank God this is my reality.
yeah, if you have an awesome dream, it's just like incredible, and then you wake up
Yeah.
and you're like, oh God, this is my life. But yeah, if you have a horrible dream, you wake up and you're just ready to start the day. You're like, oh, I'm so thankful for my
Yeah,
life.
no, exactly.
touche,
Yeah.
touche.
By the way, the Platt Amendment is how Guantanamo was given to the U.S. in 1903. They got 45 square miles of land, and they made a
just
deal
hop
with the
right
newly
back.
independent.
You
Cuban
got somebody.
government.
You have somebody in your ear, like
Yeah, tiny needle.
30
Please.
seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Let's talk about the CIA again.
I have one crazy story. I don't know if this person was just trying to fuck with me, but he came up to me and he was like, hey, I'm not allowed to tell you what I do, but here's a little present. And then he goes, like, we checked in on you when you were out in China. Like, we had to look into you, and he gave me like a CIA medallion. And so I guess this guy was like inferring that when I lived out in China for 7 years, the CIA like did some research into me just to make sure I wasn't going to be a spy.
Huh.
So I don't like.
I bet they did.
That's pretty sick.
You were pretty prominently known.
Yeah.
Still are, but like amongst the international community, you were like the biggest American vlogger living in China.
Yeah, and like I'm sure it didn't take too much research to be like, all right, this guy doesn't seem like a threat.
It would be
Just likes doing drugs abroad.
it would be pretty sick if he handed you your file.
Yeah, that would
That
be
would've been
real.
sick.
But he was like, I can't even tell you what I do, but I assume the CIA medallion was a hint.
That's a wild intro to anybody that walks up to you and says, I can't tell you what I do, but I've been watching.
I want to start doing that.
Just randomly go to people at the bar.
Do you think, I mean, in the past, we've used like prominent celebrities as CIA informants, or they'll have like a specific part of their job that they're reporting back to the government. Like Julia Childs, the famous TV chef, she was an intelligence agent. And there's been like, a lot of celebrities that have been involved. Do you think it would be worthwhile for the CIA to work with anybody here at Barstool?
Maybe they already are.
Like Dave, if the CIA could work with Dave, hobnobs around with an international set of wealthy business people. Like, do you think the CIA, anyone at the CIA, you think they've had a conversation like, we should try to work with Dave Portnoy?
I think it'd be more likely to be the FBI or something like that, but I don't know. Because like Barstool could be seen as like a form of youth mind control.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, the FBI would
so
be
like-
if they're like.
And so
Looking
there
for
could be somebody out
crimes.
there that's like, we need to somehow drum up interest in Sabalenka, the tennis player. I know just the thing. We'll tell Dave Portnoy to bet on her. He'll win his bet, and then he'll spend a week talking about her, and then actively root against an American in the U.S. Open Finals. And then now Sabalenka will have a legion of fans across the United States because Dave Portnoy has introduced them to her.
Yeah, he'd be a pretty solid asset, I guess.
Where's she from?
Yeah.
Belarus.
Whoa.
That's the country that's
Wait.
acting as a puppet state for
Yeah.
Russia right now.
Yeah.
Remember when you thought that that the Wagner group was going to do a pincer move on Ukraine because they sent their former leader to live in Belarus? It's like, wait a second, that's on the northern border of Ukraine.
No,
And then
there was a
there are
lot. I was
troops on the
just
south.
informing.
It's about
what
to be a
everybody-
pincer. It's going to be a pincer.
No, I was just informing what people were thinking at the time. Like, no one could predict the future. Now he's dead.
Now he's dead.
But,
yeah, just keep your eye out on Dave. That's all I'm saying. There could be some other people at Barstool that could be CIA
Yeah.
for.
It would
feel like
probably be a low-ranking person that just like pops out of nowhere at like a young age and just slowly infiltrates his way into the like
Meek Phil.
Yeah.
like
Glenny Balls. Stay woke on Glenny.
Yeah.
I mean, just a kid
What
who
did
showed
they
up with a
use,
crew
like,
cut,
What did they
clean
use
cut.
Julia Childs for and stuff like in the past?
That's a good question. I don't know that much about her.
John
do
Cena is
recall-
a CIA asset.
They used to be really concerned about the communist influence in Hollywood. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of prominent actors had communist sympathies.
Okay, when the U.S. joined World War II, Americans found unique ways to use their skills to support the war effort. For some, the skills they learned during the war shaped their future. Julia Child began her work with the Office of Strategic Services, the predecessor to the CIA, as a research assistant in the Secret Intelligence Division, and then transferred to the OSS Emergency Sea Rescue Equipment Section. The OSS was concerned with reports that sharks were accidentally setting off explosives and attacking downed pilots. Child and her colleagues set about creating a shark repellent to coat explosives and pilot life preservers. So she claimed that was the first recipe that she ever made.
So this was before she was famous. They didn't recruit like a famous chef to work with them.
So I'm looking up some more information about her right now. But there are the U.S. government has definitely used like assets
Yeah.
that are prominently known. You know that children's book guy, Roald Dahl?
Yeah, I was just
James
reading
and the
that.
Giant
Yeah.
Peach.
Yeah, he was a spy.
So
Really?
he was involved in the secret British operation to push the United States into World War II. So obviously then Pearl Harbor happened, and that kind of solved their problem. But for a while, Churchill was like, dude, like the UK is going to fucking lose to the Nazis unless we find some way to get US into this war.
Yeah. You know what some of his jobs were? I think I learned this on Drunk History.
Propaganda. Drawings.
He
No, that was Dr.
apparently-
Seuss.
He apparently was hung like a black rhino, like had a giant dick,
Okay.
and he was very charming. And so they sent him to the United States to just bang a lot of prominent women
Yeah.
in the United
Okay.
States and get information about what was going on behind the scenes and try to influence them through the power of his massive cock.
Damn.
Holy
I mean, I
shit.
guess if you bang the right woman, she might have a lot of sway.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, it sounds like to have like any sort of effect on USA joining the war, you got to bang a lot of women.
The cock that got us into World War II.
But
This,
I guess
this
if
gives
you-
the
yeah.
giant
BFG
penis.
a whole different meaning.
James and the giant cock.
The BFG. Because isn't that part of that book just talking about how the BFG has big ears, big nose?
Yeah, I don't know if they ever describe his phallus though.
The big friendly giant.
I didn't know
Arian, you're
rhinos.
muted.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't know rhinos was hung like this. I just googled black rhino penis because I thought it was like a black rhino, like you was talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were talking about. So I just googled it and god damn.
Well,
By the
compared
way,
to their
Roald
body,
Dahl-
it's not that big.
Elephant cocks are bigger than
I
rhino
can
cocks.
see everybody hate on a rhino penis before, bro. What a hater!
No,
move.
penis. I
It's not
think.
that big. It's not that big. It isn't that big, man.
No, but like if we're talking, I'm pretty sure there's a shrimp that's penis is twice as big as its body. That's
Man,
impressive.
There's
the
a
opposing
duck
vagina
with
doesn't
a
care about
25-foot long
relative.
penis. There's
Say
like
again?
there's a type of duck. It has like a fruit by the foot cock, and it just rolls out to like 20 feet.
That's an interesting question, though. I don't think women care about relative penis size. I think they just care about penis size.
Well, no, but think about it compared to their.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think relative penis size matters. I think it's just penis size, man. Like if you-
By the way,
like-
Roald Dahl wrote some good books. Don't Google some of his. He's made some comments.
Oh, really?
Oh
Yeah.
that recently came to light. He had a couple anti-Semitic comments or something, right?
Yeah, anti is putting it mildly.
Okay.
Like how?
Dr. Seuss.
I mean, I'm
also
not
had
going to
some-
read them, but they're out there.
read them, bro. They're not yours.
Nah, I'm not reading them. People can,
Send 'em
use
to the
that
chat.
shit
I'll
out
read
of
'em.
context.
Can you just omit the bad words?
Nah, y'all can Google them. But he
I'm about
was,
to Google
he
them,
was
hold on.
pretty anti for sure.
Wow.
Dr. Seuss also had some pretty problematic propaganda cartoons during World War II.
Dr. Seuss is an interesting dude. He also the Great Butter Battle. You know that book?
Oh, I love that book.
I'm pretty sure that book's just about the Cold War.
Yes, it is.
Right? Because
Yeah,
it's like two separate factions of society and they hate each other
Mhm.
because one butters their toast with the butter side up, the other does butter side down.
Yep.
And you're like, I will fucking destroy you for buttering your toast differently than I am.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
And
just
then
an allegory. right?
they keep on inventing like more advanced weapons.
Yeah.
And they finally invent this like bean that can just like, which is their allegory to a nuclear weapon.
Mhm.
And then they're both, it ends with they're on a wall and they're like, who's going to use the bean first
Yeah.
and destroy the world?
I think the Cat
Great
in the
little
Hat
movie.
was it the Cat in the Hat came back, the one where he leaves a ring around the tub and then they try to clean up that ring that's around the tub and it gets on the blanket and then it gets on something else. I think that one's about communism because it's like a red ring and then it gets on the blanket, then it gets on the chair, then it gets on the walls of the house, then the red just spreads all over the entire property. And the only way to get rid of the red thing was like the cat inside the hat, the like smallest cat possible, had a tiny little like device inside of his hat that will get rid of all the red immediately. And then he like snaps it and all the red's gone. That one to me seemed like it was more in favor of just like nuking Russia.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that there's like an allegory in there.
Okay, yeah. The Butter Battle book is like I had that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I would like one of my favorite childhood movies.
Great book. The Places You Go. That's another good. I feel like The Places You Go has gotten way more popular in the last 10 years. Now you just get it at like every graduation party.
Yeah.
Yo, I just Googled some of
Everyone's
these
got a
quotes,
copy of
Big
that.
T. Holy shit.
They're pretty wild.
Yeah, this ain't even anti-Semitic. This is evil, dog. This is evil as shit.
Yeah, it was some bad stuff.
Oh my! I read it. All right, this is wild though. Hey, no fucking quote cards. I did not say this shit. Do not clip this out of context. This is not me, dog. This is this guy. What is this thing's name again?
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. This is not me. There's 5 of them that his family apologized for. He says, there is a trait in the Jewish character that does provoke animosity. Maybe it's a kind of lack of generosity towards non-Jews. I mean, there's always a reason why anti-anything crops up anywhere. Even a stinker like Hitler didn't just pick on them for no reason. I mean, if you and I were in a line moving towards what we knew were gas chambers, I'd rather have a go at taking one of the guards with me, but they were always submissive. That's
Oh my God.
crazy,
Jesus
dog.
Christ.
Also being like even a stinker like Hitler.
Yeah, still like he's just like he, takes kids lunch money or something.
That little rascal.
What a stinker.
dog.
You guys did a full episode on MK Ultra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can mention that briefly, but basically they dose people with acid, sex, dose them with a lot of stuff, and then try to interrogate them to see what would make them crack. They're on the search for like a truth serum. Also, Coley's dad was part of MK Ultra, not
was so
as
insane, yeah.
not as a CIA operative, but as like one of the guys that was in a bar in New England that they gave acid to.
Yeah.
Also-
I just when
One
they
thing
first started that, they were only testing it on like employees of the CIA, but then they were like, well, if you know you're taking acid, then like these experiments won't work. So they just started giving it to random people.
It's just crazy, though. Just imagine going out of your mind at a bar, chilling by yourself.
Yeah.
I actually want that to happen to me. Not that,
Yeah,
but I want to like be a guinea pig for psychedelics. That would be fun. That would be dope. Like under a controlled environment where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Don't give me no hero dose, but just give me something where I'm having a good time to where there's doctors analyzing my behavior, brain waves, all that shit. That would be cool, man.
It would be. You guys want to get to the interview?
Yeah.
And then maybe do we have a voicemail we can do afterwards? All right, let's get to the interview. So it's an awesome interview. Very fascinating dude, former CIA operative, former Delta Force operative.
His name's Gary Harrington. You're fumbling for it.
Yeah, Gary Harrington
Yeah.
is his name. I'm pulling it out right now. Thank you, Big T.
You're welcome.
Damn.
Gary Harrington.
Holy man.
I did.
Zero couth on
Well,
Big
would
T.
you rather have done that or kept saying former CIA agent like 4 times while you were looking for it?
No, I had it right here,
Okay.
right when you said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big T's right. Gary Harrington is his name.
I think it's better.
Did you have it pulled up, Big T? You just remembered it.
I did look it up about 15 minutes ago
There you go.
Got you. Because I forgot.
because I knew we'd need it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, no disrespect. It's just
Gary H. Gary H.
Yeah.
joined the program. Very
G hair, as we call him, because we know him so well.
G-hair.
yeah. I'm definitely pulling up to his crib though. Definitely.
Yeah. All right, we welcome on a very special guest to Macrodosing. It's Gary Harrington from the new Netflix documentary series Spy Ops. Gary was in the agency. He was in the CIA. Actually, let's start here. Can you tell us, just introduce yourself to our audience? What would you say is like, how did you get down into this career path?
Well, I actually started out as a Marine officer long time ago, and then got bored because I got promoted to captain. So I said, what's exciting? This is back in the 80s, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to resign, and I enlisted in Special Forces. So went to the Army, became a Special Forces guy, went to Central and South America a lot, then heard about this thing called Delta. Figured I'd give that a shot. So I tried out for Delta, made it, went there for a few years, left Delta, actually got asked to leave Delta, and then went on to do other things. Served in 5th Group, which is Middle East oriented. So, and from that, I kind of got into these one-man missions that dealt with kind of intelligence matters in the Middle East. So in doing that, I kind of got hooked up with agency people, coordinated with them. 9/11 happens, we remember that today, right? So 9/11 happened, and I was in a key position to coordinate with the agency. So I was part of those first group of special forces that went over to Afghanistan to coordinate between the agency and the special forces. And I wound up being on like 4 different agency teams in those early days of 2001 and 2. Did okay with the agency, so they borrowed me for 2 years after that to do some stuff in the run-up to the Iraq War and in Iraq. And then after that, resigned on a Friday from the Army, or retired from the Army on a Friday, and went to work at Langley at the CIA on Monday. So that was my career path into the CIA.
It's sounds like a lot of adventures that you went on. And you should check out the Netflix documentary series Spy Ops. It's fascinating. Gives you a nice little glimpse into some of the stuff that maybe you might not know about, that maybe you've just heard about or read, surface level stuff. So check out the documentary series. It's very, very cool. You mentioned that you got kicked out of Delta Force.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, you may have heard there was this person named Pablo Escobar a long time ago. And I went down there. I was fairly new in Delta, but I spoke Spanish, so I went to Colombia. And I was down there and had a falling out with someone, and one thing led to another, and I was the new guy, and I got asked to go find a new place to work.
Okay. Interesting. It sounds like there's some stuff that maybe you might not be at liberty to discuss. I just have a general question about working in the agency, because there's some people that I know that I'm pretty sure that they do some clandestine work that I'm not allowed to know about. What do they teach you in terms of, like, if you have someone in your family, or whether it be a close friend, while you're actively working for the CIA, if they start to like ask a lot of questions about your job, what it is you do, is there a way that you are trained to like ask them politely to stop inquiring further about the things that you do?
I think that's a funny thing how it happens. To be honest, there's a more hype about it than it is for real. If a married person, your spouse is going to know if you're an officer. That's not the same as me going out and recruiting a spy, because in a foreign country, when I do that, we try to keep it where that person does not tell their spouse, although I have on occasion let them, but I have to like write it up, get permission from headquarters, and handle it in a certain way. When you recruit somebody, and it's kind of like you're having an affair on the side. Here's somebody going off to secret meetings. They're not telling you where they're going or what they're doing. They're talking to somebody that and you can never know. So if a wife catches it, it can look pretty like someone's cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to cause an issue in a marriage, then like the last thing you'd want is somebody hiring a private eye to put on this person that you're secretly meeting. So there's been times where, if you do the right procedures, they can inform them. As far as my own life, yeah, your immediate family knows. Heck, when I was in Delta, that was secret too. You're not supposed to tell people that. But when your hair grows longer, you're wearing different clothes, you're doing different things, it's kind of becomes that, like, okay, we say it's secret. It's not that big of a secret. Kids, I would probably keep it from kids when they're younger until they're old enough to not go blurting things around. But your other friends, and yeah, you have friends that know you well, might suspect or think that you're doing it. And some of the stuff you say is ridiculous. Like me, I was undercover as a diplomat, or a State Department diplomat, political section a few times. So, I'd be in a country and it's like, oh, you're a Marine, Delta sniper, blah, 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 all this stuff. And now you're suddenly in the political section at an embassy.
Yeah.
So, it's like, okay, but you just don't confirm it.
Yeah. I bet there's also some people out there where the roles kind of reversed, where they are having an affair. They are cheating on their wife. And then they just tell their wife, like, I'm actually doing work for the CIA right now. So
there are so many. I've been
twice divorced.
I have been approached by so many people that said, hey, my husband did some secret work. He was in Tora Bora and he did this. I'm like, and I'm thinking, yeah. And they tell me the story. And then, sometimes you just let it go. But then sometimes I would say, hey, I hate to tell you this, but I was there and that's a bunch of bullshit. And
we got here dropping dimes.
Come on, you can't narc on them.
You can't be dropping dimes, man.
Yeah, but they kind of do a disservice to the people that did it, right? And there's a lot of people. I got to work with big media and Netflix to tell my story, but there's so many people that just give whole lives and careers. They are never going to tell their story.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there any so like I'm a retired NFL football player, used to play in the league for 8 years, and so watching football movies is kind of whack to me, right? Like they're corny because they just get so much, they exaggerate so much, and it's kind of lame. So when you watch like The Bourne Identity or any other kind of like super secret spy CIA movies, which I love, right? Do you get the same feels like that's kind of, it's not how it goes?
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing. Sometimes I don't watch movies that are popular about stuff that I was in because it's too far from the truth. Especially with CIA movies, because they show like the Jason Bourne stuff. That's very, very rare that anybody does that. It's a lot more administrative than anything that they'll show. So and like even 13 Strong, the movie about the first SF guys in, I was there in that and know all those guys. It's a fun movie to watch, but it's way different than what actually happened.
Were they really on horses?
Yeah, they were really on the horses, just that all that combat stuff you see and the shooting back and forth from horses and stuff. None of that happened.
Yeah, Billy, I know you were really interested in the documentary series. I know you've got a bunch of questions for him.
Honestly, you talked about how you were doing work in the Middle East pre 9/11, if I'm correct.
Yep.
And I was just wondering, what was the scope of U.S. intelligence agencies in the Middle East before 9/11? Were there active agents on the ground? Which countries were more problematic, and what was exactly the sort of situation there from a bird's eye view?
Well, I'll talk about I worked in Yemen for a while, 98, and some of 99. And that was different. Each of these, if there's no conflict going on at the moment, it's the ambassador is running that country or running the U.S. presence there. So they're trying to achieve their political ends. And the CIA office in the embassy, every CIA office or station, as they're called, has an operational directive. Like, okay, if I'm in this country, what intelligence would be of use to the United States that I could gather? So you try to operate off that. But my experience in the military doing these intel things was to provide like a screen of security for other U.S. to come in. So it was getting more dangerous in the Middle East. But until 9/11, I don't think we really understood how much the sentiment had changed and just how big the terror threat was going to be.
So did you not pick up a lot of the anti-US sentiment that came to be? Did you see it on the ground, or was it sort of all of a sudden out of nowhere?
Well, like I'll give you so it's back to Yemen again because that's pre 9/11, and there was a group called the Islamic Army of Aden that made threats, but that was a really small group. Most of the people weren't that way. I mean, I wandered all around the country, just walk up to places and go in by myself. Yeah, people look at you funny, but after a while, you know, they get used to you. And I felt that it was okay. But even our time during Yemen in 98, 99, it started getting more violent. They started doing car bombs. They took some hostages. They were trying to get on the compound when other military came in where we were, and then we all know what happened with the coal eventually in 2000.
Yeah. So I guess prior to the coal, there was the I think it was Tomahawk cruise missiles that we lobbed over into Africa and the Middle East that happened to coincide with Monica Lewinsky stories breaking, and then Bill Clinton just decided, you know what, I'm going to get these terrorists and take them out. That episode right there, like, were you involved in any of the intelligence gathering, or what was the general consensus around the intelligence community when Clinton just decided to, okay, you know what, I'm going to fire some Tomahawks?
Well, I was a little bit pissed off, to be honest, because I was living in a neighborhood in Yemen. Like, okay, I'm the only one that looks like me. And there was a mosque down the street that had always, give the call to prayer. And that morning after those attacks, I only spoke a little bit of Arabic, but I'm hearing this guy on the loudspeaker all throughout the neighborhood railing on America and calling us everything and devils and railing against Americans. And then when I found out about the attacks, I'm like, hey, somebody should have let me know ahead of time, because I'm not living in a good place to be caught by surprise by something like that.
Yeah. And then right after 9/11, it seemed like we figured out pretty quickly. We zeroed in on bin Laden and on Al-Qaeda, said these are the guys that are responsible. But I don't know. I guess maybe I forget. I don't recall them taking credit for the attacks immediately afterwards. I feel like that happened, gradually. It kind of trickled out. How quickly did we know, and how did we find out right after the attacks took place that this was an Al-Qaeda operation?
So I'd been in Delta before. So we studied terrorism. So before 9/11, how many people in the U.S. spent a lot of time looking at terror groups and studying about terror? So I knew of bin Laden, and they had done the Khobar Towers attacks. We'd had the Marine barracks in Beirut attacked. There were several attacks. I think it was at 98, the bombing in Kenya at the embassy. So they were active. And like, for example, me, the morning of 9/11, I was on the way to the airport to take a flight from Nashville to Tampa to coordinate a military exercise. I'm listening on the radio. I heard about the first plane going in. So yeah, you tell yourself, well, that seems odd because there's a pilot, a co-pilot, a flight engineer. How could none of them correct that? But you don't know. So I pulled into a little cafe, turned on their TV, and just in time to see the second hit. So I was already thinking maybe this isn't an accident, maybe terror. But as soon as the second hit, because of my background, I knew, okay, it's terror. And we immediately began planning, the invasion of Afghanistan. So it was immediate that those in the know knew what had happened. We might not have had proof yet, but we knew who it was and where to go. Al-Qaeda kept it secret for a while because they clearly understood there would be retribution for that. So, but eventually it came out.
So Operation Anaconda, after the 9/11 attacks, we go into Afghanistan. We try to take out the Taliban, try to take out bin Laden first and foremost. And I've always heard that we almost got him. Like right off the bat, the first couple months, we almost got him. We came really close. How close did we actually get?
Yeah. So how close were we actually to getting him?
Yeah.
Are we talking yards, miles?
Distance. I was on an observation post, trying to call in bombs on the mountain where the tunnels were that he was reportedly in. So it was a few thousand. It's several thousand meters away, and he was there for a while. It's just that with the force that we had to go up there and using locals, that it just wasn't working. It took too long to get up there, and the tunnel complexes that they were in were just too protected by the terrain, by the rocks. So yeah, we were within, a few thousand meters of him, couple miles, I guess, if you put straight line distance for a while. But somewhere around December 6th is when we think he got out, because he was never heard on radio again.
Do we know how he got out?
The path. So there were squirters. I feel we as long as we were dropping bombs, we were constantly dropping bombs. Hey, everybody wanted to get bin Laden, right? So every airplane that flew over Afghanistan that had any bombs left came over Tora Bora and said, "I'm here. I got bombs. Where you want them?" And so we were constantly dropping them. But it's not. They're not raining down all the time, and I think there were squirters a couple times at night. I saw some lights way down in a valley moving, and so they could move through. We did not have them cordoned off, and the whole back area of Tora Bora towards the Pakistan side, that was wide open. Some warlord said he was going to cover that area, but A, it's impossible to cover completely, and B, I'm not sure how much he was really trying.
Yeah, the loyalties of the guys in that region, from what I've read, it's just like, they fluctuate on a week-to-week basis almost. Like, okay, they'll support this person next week. Okay, they can be bought off, support somebody else. So it's kind of hard to rely on those guys, right?
Yeah, it is that you can – there's a saying that we used to say you could rent an Afghan, but you couldn't buy one, which – you had to deal with those shifting loyalties and understand that I'm here now and we have money and we have the power. So you'll go along with me to a certain point, but I'm not going to count on it long term. And the night that bin Laden got away was a strange thing. And I've always been suspicious of the warlord that we were working with, Hazrat Ali, because we're up on this observation post way up on this mountaintop. We're super high up, and there were a few of his people with us. And one night they came to us and said, "You have to move. You have to go down the mountain. We can't stay here." And we're like, "Why?" "Well, it's too dangerous. You can't stay." And that Hazrat Ali sort of pulled everybody back. Now, we didn't leave. The Afghans left us up there alone, then left. It was 5 or 6 of us, and they went away for the night. But I feel that's the night that UBL made his getaway, and always felt that while they thought, they claimed they called that because they were going to get him, and there was going to be some big surrender. I believe it was to let him get away, but that's my personal belief.
With the modern technology we have in warfighting today, do you think that with the drones and everything, it would have been a much easier way to capture them? Do you think just technologically we weren't prepared to cover that area and that terrain?
Yeah, that terrain, like for example, it was so steep, the mountaintop we were on, that if I'm calling in bombs, they're going to hit, 2,000 meters in front of me. But we're up so high, but down in the valley, that it was surprising. You look and the plane at 25,000 feet drop the bombs, and there they go zipping by you. You're like, wait a minute, we're hitting something 2,000 meters away. Why are these bombs flying right by me? It's because we're up on this giant mountaintop, and the target's there, so the bomb's path is going right by us. Drones, we didn't have a lot of drones in those days. They were the first version of Predator, and so there was not constant surveillance, and they were in tunnels a lot, so we could have found people coming out. But then you have that issue of there's little villages dotted all along these valleys. So is this some farmer out at night, or is it bad guys? Is it 2 a.m.? What farmer is out? So there's a lot of those questions, but surely as the drone program progressed and we had the Reaper, I am sure that we could have had a better picture of the battlefield about what was going on.
Yeah. Big T, you got anything?
Yeah, there's is my mic on?
Let's make sure his mic's going.
Check.
There we go.
Okay. There's a story in the show about you. You see some guys in a car that are kind of looking you up and down the wrong way, and you get kind of a feeling, and y'all leave, and then 2 minutes later, a car bomb goes off. Yeah. I'm just curious, how many times would you say you've cheated death in one way or another?
Well, some of that is in training. I've had, a few accidents and near accidents in training where you're left, hanging onto the side of a helicopter at 100 feet. That's in a way that you're cheating death in. Or it's just not that it's a combat one. For me, I don't know. I mean, Afghanistan, we walked out of an ambush once. I got a bad feeling. There were like 6 of us, and we were set up, I think, and I told the tactical leader, I said, we have to get out of here. This isn't right. The locals that were here have disappeared. I think we're being set up. And when we pulled out, we found out later that radio intercept heard Al Qaeda talking, that they had put an ambush in around us part of the way, but they were waiting for everybody else to get in place. And when we left, so that's one we probably got pretty lucky at walking away from. That suicide car bomb, yeah, I was just real lucky then, because they had to look at me. I'm the American. I'm 25 yards from them. So I always thought that one of them could have said, "Hey, let's just do it now. There's an American. We win." And maybe the other guy said, "No, we're told to wait for a military convoy." So anyway, they didn't. They clearly recognized me as an American, and we looked at each other. I was lucky, and Rasul, who was with me, the interpreter, we were both lucky that convoy just came along right after we left instead of while we were standing there. In the pictures of the aftermath of that, where we were, it's just gone. Everything is just obliterated.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between the Taliban and Al Qaeda? Because I think a lot of people just assume that they were operating as one unit, when in fact there are 2 distinct groups. One was harboring the other. But what was were they cooperating on everything? Were there beefs going on between those 2 organizations that made the political side of what you were trying to accomplish more difficult?
I think that, well, first of all, that they were hosting Al Qaeda, And Al Qaeda knew, I think, that there would be retaliation by America if their attack was successful. And as payback for that, they on 9 September or 10, I think 9 September, they assassinated Ahmad Shah Massoud, who was the Panjshiri leader of the Afghans that were opposed to the Taliban. So it's like, okay, we'll take out your biggest threat before 9/11. And then after that, Al Qaeda were Arabs. So they were known as Arabs. When I would travel around Afghanistan and talk to these people, they would talk about, the darker skinned or the sandy skinned Arabs. So they were foreigners, but they were Muslim. And then in addition, in the Pashtun areas of Afghanistan, they have this code called Pashtun Wali. In Pashtun Wali, it says that if I have a guest, I will rather get my head cut off than he get a scratch on his ear because he is my guest. And that's how the Taliban viewed Al Qaeda. They were their guest. So that we always had to deal with that. Now, anytime Al Qaeda or any extreme Arabs come in, like take ISIS in Syria, when they come in and start living there, they instill a Wahhabi, very strict law of code. They're cutting people's hands off, stoning people, keeping girls from going to school. Eventually, the villagers don't like it, and they always wish they could get rid of them, but often by that time, it's too late. So that was something that I would always try to play on too, was that villagers don't really, they may have liked getting rid of corrupt officials at first, but what the devil that they brought in, eventually they come to dislike too.
Yeah, that's really interesting to think about. Like I've seen a lot of like travel videos of people going to Afghanistan, and yeah, they take their guests in, and it's like, no, you treat them like a king. It's funny to think about, like, Al Qaeda was taking advantage of the Taliban's generosity and, and like making them feel bad. And it's like, man, I really like to get rid of this asshole who's here, but unfortunately, I'm not allowed to do that. Do you know through your intelligence gathering and things that you've heard from some coworkers, was Osama bin Laden ever aware of some of the alternate theories of 9/11? Like that George Bush planted thermite in the towers and all that stuff? And if so, do you think, was Osama bin Laden pissed off that people were making videos giving credit to somebody else?
That's a good point I hadn't thought of. So, yeah, I bet that he probably would have been angry that there would be these theories of some other cause than them. Those causes, I always, to be honest, one man's version of truth is another man's conspiracy theory. And I looked at those as like, to be honest, pretty ridiculous. We tried everything we could for the whole time I was there, and until we got bin Laden to get him. There were resources that will probably never come to light that the U.S. spent a hell of a lot of money overall, a hell of a long time doing its best to try to find him, to get him. But the thing with the thermite grenades and all, like especially on a day like today, I just think that's so disingenuous for people to believe that, or that, I get pissed off at my government and my leaders sometimes, but to go that far, nah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to explore that though, because when you're behind the scenes of things, like I always like to say, like when you see behind the curtain, you kind of have a different vantage point than anybody else. And like from the outside in, especially because all of the propaganda fed to us on either side, we look at like the CIA as this, like, I guess colloquially we would be like, you guys are like the the arbiters that kind of hide all the real shit that's going on, and what I'm saying, from aliens to political assassinations, right? So like a lot of gets bled from CIA brought in cocaine, like a lot of different everywhere, and it all gets placed on our agencies like CIA, FBI, and there's some truth to them, and sometimes there's not, and you never really can know. And so like I guess my question to you would be, out of all your dealings with your agency, is there anything that you have been like frustrated with, maybe not been a part of, but understood that we took part in? I don't know if you're allowed to say, but something that was like, yeah, man, we fucked that one up.
Yeah. Okay. So there's probably a lot. Now I'm going to be slower in talking now because I want to think through me going to jail. So
don't hold on. Don't I come in peace. I don't want you locked up, bro.
It's kind of like being a soldier for me when I was in the CIA. It's like sometimes I thought this is some stupid stuff, but I'm ordered to do it. So my job is to promote the U.S. interest the best I can. And like, let's take Iraq, for example. I was sent from Afghanistan to Iraq in 2002 to start doing some cross-border stuff. Well, we didn't invade Iraq till 2003. And all that time, President Bush was trying to build a coalition. I think a lot of people felt we were headed towards war in Iraq, but then there was all this wrangling going on. And yet, being on the inside, I knew that, okay, we are eventually going to go to war, but all this stuff that we did for 8 months prior was 8 months that we essentially tipped off the enemy to what we're going to do and let him prepare for the ultimate invasion. So I thought, well, that was a political thing. It kind of wasted. I'm not a fan of how we did Libya and what happened in Libya. I'm not a fan of how we dealt with Syria, and I was sort of involved in some of the planning of that. And a lot of times I felt there's a political end that superseded what was in the best interest of the United States. But the CIA has to deal with the White House, the National Security Council, the State Department, and all those people, and they all have their institutional interest, but also there were individuals, I think, within each of those that had their own political interest. And sometimes as the guy on the ground, you think, damn, whose interest am I really, are we really doing this for? But you have to, it's hard, especially if you're risking your life. At some point you have to say, I have faith in a civilian-led government. I can't have a general running everything. I probably wouldn't want that either. Mm-hmm. But I have to go forth and do my job and do it to the best of my ability. And regardless, I had a couple big victories in like getting rid of some high-ranking terrorists, and you watch the politicians take the bow. But
so I guess a follow-up question. I know we got to let you go here in a minute, man, but there's an ultimate question at the end I want to ask you. That's funny, but this one's kind of serious. It's like, so how do you square? I mean, because I'm pretty sure that you have, participated in some things that maybe, looking back, as far as like taking orders wise, you probably didn't agree with, but like you said, you was doing your job, whatever the case may be. So how do you square that as like you said, you're kind of a soldier for the, U.S. military interests who may have other interests, who may have political interests. How you kind of square like just doing your job versus like, man, this shit don't feel right.
It comes to a moral question. If you get to a point where you feel the morality and ethics of it are wrong, then I think it's on the person to stand up and do something. Hey, I'm not saying maybe you don't see that a lot, and I've never been pushed to the point where I felt it was that. Now, okay, well, let me take that back. With Yemen and the run up to the coal, I was the single guy in the country that was saying, hey, this is just getting dangerous here. We got to do something. This isn't the peaceful place that all the politicians and the ambassador and the CIA are saying. This is dangerous for U.S. interest here. And that's just when ships just started coming in. So I kind of went around the ambassador and sent a message back to Special Forces headquarters about my assessment, which was that the Islamic Army of Aden, if it either got training from Al-Qaeda or hosted an Al-Qaeda cell, that they were capable of effecting an attack against U.S. interests. Well, guess what? When the coal happened, they hosted an Al-Qaeda cell that did that. And after, but I got creamed by the ambassador because I went around her and sent a message out that went against official policy. And, I could have got kicked out of country. They could have pursued other things. In the end, they didn't pursue that. But, that's the one time where it pushed me to the point. I did not want to leave Yemen. I was getting ready to leave in 99. And then some attack like the coal happened, and me, never having said anything. Then those lies to me would kind of be on me.
Right. I appreciate you sharing it, man. I know you kind of walking the thin line between saying what you can and saying what you want to. So I appreciate you being open about it, man. Last question I have for you, I don't know if any of my co-hosts have anything else, but aliens, bro. Do you have any info on extraterrestrial life that we've come in contact with, that we know about, or know anybody in your department that has? I'm willing to take anything at this point.
No, I don't. If I did, I'd be buying them some beers, try to loosen that tongue some. The only really weird looking, I can't go there. I was going to say something about weird looking aliens and all, but then I don't want to tell them myself. So
there you go.
What about the Kandahar Giant?
Dude, I just saw that pictures of the Kandahar Giant on Facebook this weekend. I want somebody. I haven't had time to look at that, but I want somebody to tell me, like, hey, how was that photoshopped, or what's that deal? Because that's pretty wild looking. Supposedly filmed and shot in 23, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that they still wander around Afghanistan to this day, but I guess you would probably be the guy that would know because you were there for a while.
Some of them were tall. I will be honest. Some were tall. There would be a guy on one of the teams there. So in 2001, I jumped from team to team in different places in Afghanistan, and a lot of Afghans are kind of small. But man, when I opened up a base in a place called Orgun up in the mountains by Waziristan, Pakistan border. And there was this dude there. He was like, he wasn't no giant, like 10 feet like that. But this guy was like 6'10", somewhere like that. Stocky, big build. He held an AK, and it looked like a little kid's toy in his hand. But he was just like a simple, gentle person. He used to come and try to make me tea. He was a nice guy, but yeah. And in that area, they were taller. They were taller and thinner guys in that area, but nothing that I would consider giant. That guy was the closest I ever saw to like a giant, but I was like, shit, most of them were small and this guy's way big.
Yeah, Billy's convinced that it's real. I do have one last very quick question, then we'll let you go. You can check out Spy Ops. It's on Netflix. It's a great documentary series, and check it out. It's up there right now. It's Gary Harrington, but my last question was, as a CIA employee, did you ever get access to any sweet gadgets? Like, were there any cool things that you used for tradecraft that would just like blow your mind or be cool to think about to this day? Like, man, I really wish I got to use that poison tipped umbrella at one point.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like umbrellas, but yeah, there's devices. I mean, yeah, we couldn't talk about some of the devices, but if you go to the Spy Museum in DC, or if you ever get a chance to go to the CIA Spy Museum, there's really cool stuff. And some of it's not like new, but like robotic fish that can carry things that look like a real fish and swim. The birds, the little insect drones that look like an insect. You know, all those kind of things are out there.
They got robot birds, so the dude was right. Birds
are fake. Yep.
I think the bird would be hard because the wingspan is so much bigger to make that be real. It'll be hard, but like, you know, an insect, the way that would, or like a hummingbird, I think you could do that with machines that would mimic that more.
All right, can replace the birds.
Yep. All right, very cool. Well, Gary Harrington, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time. And check out Spy Ops on Netflix.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Gary Harrington was brought to you by TracFone. Are you paying too much for your wireless plan? I know a lot of you guys are. Straight Talk just introduced the new Straight Talk multi-line plan, where more lines mean more savings. Just $25 a line per month when you get 4 lines. That's cheap. That's so cheap. $25 a line when you get 4 lines, and it includes unlimited data, talk, and text. And it's all on nationwide 5G. Plus, there's no contracts, no hidden fees, no compromises. That's the Straight Talk talking from Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart and walmart.com. All right, let's do some voicemails. Yeah, Billy?
We empty the clip.
Yeah, Billy, empty the clip. Go for it before we do the voicemail.
Okay, the farm was the CIA's black site in Thailand. The salt pit was the CIA's black site in Afghanistan. Abu Ghraib was the Iraqi prison where the CIA did a lot of torture. The CIA never admitted to selling crack cocaine to America, but there's a lot of evidence. In the 1980s, during Iran-Contra, in which they illegally sold weapons to Iran, used the profits to fund the Contras, a rebel group in Nicaragua. In order to raise money, the CIA is alleged to have turned to drug trafficking, including the sale of crack cocaine. The first assertion was in 1985. A CIA contracted pilot named Barry Seal was arrested with 800 pounds of cocaine, and he claimed that he'd been working for the CIA. And then in 86, a DEA agent named Michael Levine testified before Congress that he'd seen evidence that the CIA was involved in drug trafficking crack cocaine to U.S. neighborhoods. We talked about MK Ultra, but one thing that we didn't talk about in that episode was that Marilyn Manson might have been associated with MK Ultra, as he may have used some of the mind control techniques that
Charles
they learned.
Manson, right?
Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Charles Manson. My bad. Charles Manson. Charles Manson.
Good catch, Don.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I haven't heard about this.
Yeah.
Charles and Maryland mixed up.
Yeah, he was involved. So some guys such as Timothy Leary and Dr. George Wasson had both known Manson, and Manson may have used their teachings to create his family of psychedelically mind-controlled murderers who did his bidding, and we can do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Did we do an episode on the Mansons?
We did, yeah, not Marilyn Manson, but Charles Manson.
Charles Manson?
I don't know.
Pretty sure we did,
No,
I
yeah,
don't
you're right.
remember that
It was
either.
like the 3rd episode.
I don't think it was the 3rd episode. It was after Oceans. Oceans was 2. What was the 3rd?
I just remember us talking about separating the art from the artist with his songs.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and he said he had that "Look at your
maybe.
game, girl." He had that song,
Yeah.
which is a banger. Evil dude though.
The CIA once produced a porno movie about an Indonesian government official who was anti-U.S.
Oh, there's another thing that I forgot. The CIA wrote a hit song. Have you guys heard about this?
In the club?
The Scorpions' Winds of Change was written by the CIA with the help of some other songwriters.
I'm gonna say, when you say CIA, what does that mean?
I mean, so I don't have all the details about the song, but the premise is It was at the time when Eastern Europe the Eastern Bloc was starting to fall apart. It looked like the West was going to win the Cold War, and they wanted a song that would be a hit in Europe that would encourage people to revolt against their government or to embrace the new era of capitalism. And so they wrote a song called "The Winds of Change," and the Scorpions recorded it, and it was a big hit in Europe. There's a fascinating podcast series I listened to it like 4 or 5 years ago about the writing of this song and how the CIA was instrumental in it. But yeah, check it out. It's a true story.
I'm gonna sample it and make a song about communism.
That's good. Sample "Imagine" by John Lennon and then remix it with "Winds of Change." Here are the lyrics. No, I'm not gonna. There's a lot of hard words to pronounce, so I'm not gonna say it.
Is it in English?
It is, yeah. And it's also got a lot of lyrics, but it's about overthrowing communism and embracing one another as your brother through the spirit of rejoining capitalism.
Huh. So the CIA made a porno for Sukarno, who is an Indonesian president who is very anti-Western sentiment. But so they made a realistic lifelike mask for this porn star who is fucking in Hollywood, and then they sent it out to Indonesia.
Yeah, the first deep fake.
Yeah, and the Indonesians all watched it and didn't really care, even if it was him. They were like, yeah, the president should be fucking.
That's what's
randoms.
up. My man gets it on.
They didn't realize how Indonesians didn't really care about those types of scandals. And also the CIA demoralized Soviet troops by airdropping extra-large American condoms labeled medium.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
This is their
trick.
medium?
Yeah.
It's a Jedi mind trick right there.
Do you think that had any effect on them? Or was it just something so that we could feel good about ourselves?
I feel like it'd kind of fuel their hatred more.
Yeah.
Make them more motivated.
You can't have these guys coming over. If they invade, they'll take our women with their huge penises.
Yeah.
Black rhinos.
They also kind of inadvertently created the Taliban.
Yep, by funding the Mujahideen.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to talk about that or not, but kind of did that one to ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Played
Also,
ourselves.
Yeah.
Low-key funded a lot of Ukrainian Nazis in the beginning. And let's hope that doesn't have the same result.
Mm-hmm.
If America just hadn't funded all these anti-communist leaders, do you think anything would have happened? Do you think the entire world would be communist now?
No, we just decided that the domino theory was a real thing, where if Central America turned communist, or one country in Central America, then the next one would, then Mexico would, and then the United States would turn communist. It was just kind of like a doctrine we came up with, and we're like, well, that's close to this place on the map, so...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was scary at first when Russia and China both went communist because they're two of the largest countries in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a while, you just gotta chill the fuck out.
Well, there is a little truth to the domino theory that if the neighboring country would then be able to fund communist efforts in that country to cause them to be more amicable.
But it wasn't ever going to hit the United States. It was so far away from that ever happening.
Well, no, that's where there might be a problem. They just wanted more prospective trade partners that were going to give them good deals on extracting all their resources.
Yeah, it was like the best laid plans of mice and men all have fuck ups in them.
Mm-hmm.
You can try to do something really good, what you think is right, but then you're not thinking in advance. Well, maybe in 20 years, the Taliban's going to pop up here. Also, CIA involvement in Saudi Arabia, something to look into. Do you want to talk about trade exports, developing close ties with the royal family, maybe some of their brothers and sisters and cousins end up starting up a little thing called Al-Qaeda, and then yada, 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 and then we have to go into Afghanistan and try to kill them.
And then maybe make action figures out of this person, because in 2005, the CIA wanted Hasbro to make Osama bin Laden action figures that their G.I. Joes could beat up to make him like a supervillain to the children.
Imagine how much those would be worth right now. Like on the irony market, people buying Osama bin Laden action figures.
God. And
I mean-
last but not least, the most mundane CIA fact of all time, they have been modifying Wikipedia articles since 2007.
Those motherfuckers?
Those motherfuckers.
Really?
Yeah. They've been going in and editing Wikipedia articles.
Can you see which ones they like to edit?
I think it's usually ones about the CIA. But
basically, here's my impression of the CIA is they're not unlike, the actual agency is not unlike most other jobs and most other corporations across America where people get hired there and they try to advance their careers inside the department and they have to come up with projects to do in order to make a name for themselves and get that next promotion. So they just sit around thinking of projects that they can like take on and that this will be my operation. And then they have virtually unlimited funding on the operations that they want to do. And then it's just really like a guy's plan that he comes up with in a room so that he can buy a lake house somewhere or pay for his kid's college. And then next thing you know, we're establishing shell companies in El Salvador, or we're like like co-sponsoring like vessels to go partner up with Texaco and go down to the Ecuadorian rainforest and do all sorts of fucked up shit down there.
Yeah.
It's all because this one guy is like, I have to have a project for Q4, a major initiative that we're making.
yeah, like my bosses have to see that I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like any other job. You have to do something and have your bosses like the work that you do. So you just come up with ideas out of thin air. You're like, yeah, let's do this. This sounds great. And then it becomes like policy of the entire United States to back up your little dream that you had.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a conspiracy, but the craziest CIA conspiracy in looking, I know we don't have much time, but is that Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset the whole time, and they basically used him in propaganda to send and create this network of terrorists just so the U.S. could then go fight the terrorists and create a whole system where they could like test out like military imperialism on the Middle East by creating a false enemy and having Osama bin Laden as their leader, who was actually a CIA asset.
So if that was true, Billy, I don't want to say that what
And
you
that
just said was
but
crazy,
like it's
which
creative.
it is.
It's creative because like all of his transmissions coming from caves, like because they were in caves, you couldn't see that he was like in Afghanistan or in Pakistan, and they were all just like in America the whole time.
I would have picked a smaller guy to head this up. I wouldn't want there to be like our enemy is this like 6'9" guy that's
He's
like super
6'4".
imposing. Well, whatever, 6'4". We probably should have picked like a smaller guy that looked a little bit like, I don't know, creepy. That's all I'm saying. He also should have hooped because he's tall as hell.
But like, wouldn't that be crazy if like Osama bin Laden like never was actually out there and he was just always with us and that he was never killed? He was just like a figment of CIA propaganda to pump him up to be this huge terrorist leader and cause all these people to like try to fight America just so he had an opponent to spend our military industrial complex dollars on
That'd be wild. That'd be wild if it was true.
and get
Yeah,
oil.
Are you trying to say he was just a figment of our imagination?
Or like a fictional character. Because think about how I'm not believing this, but it's the way it was put out is that like Al Qaeda existed as Osama bin Laden was a content creator, and he was sending out
All
all
right,
this
let's get
content.
to voicemails.
Yeah. Let's
get to voicemail.
Yeah, let's get to voicemails.
Thank you for that.
But
Peter.
isn't that wild?
No,
Because like,
All right, no, we're doing voicemails, Billy.
all right,
Do you want to intro Gary again?
Oh, no, that was Gary.
Oh, that was Gary?
I think we
We already did it.
we already did
Oh,
Gary.
yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Justin from Western Louisiana. Go Tigers! Big T, your Vols suck. My question is for Arian. Arian, I appreciate you giving us takes on not only sports, but philosophical matters, religion, politics, stuff like that. But my main question is about the NFL. And you kind of have the same vibe, but it seems like a lot of these players are getting into commentating or analysts or into media, and it seems like they all have the same feeling toward the NFL, and they're not very fond of it. So how does it go from being a kid's dream to be in the NFL, getting in the NFL, making that life-changing money, and then getting out and just, like I said, not becoming not very fond of it or not having very good opinions or stories about what happened in the NFL? So maybe you can fill me in on, like, what changes behind the scenes. Thank you guys so much. I listen to every episode. Look forward to it. See ya.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a good question, but it's pretty typical. I mean, it's just like, it's like any job, right? I think sports in general like has a prestige about it, and you grow up and it becomes a part of your childhood, and you have a favorite team, but then it's still a business, right? And like any business, it's run by people, and it's run by people with interests. And when you see the business side of it, you see kind of like, the inhumane society. Like it takes away the fervor of it that you fell in love with, because it's like this magical thing when you're a kid that takes you away from it's entertainment, so it takes you away from your problems, for 3 hours every Sunday or whatever the case may be, and it's like you fall in love with it. But then on the back end, you see dudes getting fucked over in contracts, which in turn affects their families, which in turn affects those kids' lives. And you see that side, the dirty stuff that personnel does, or the NFLPA versus the ownership negotiations, and how they're really just trying to fuck people over. And like, once you see that kind of side of things, it salties it for, I guess, just like the Disneyfication of it. Like it's not beautiful anymore. It becomes like this. It's a business, and you have business critiques, and you have things that you like about it. There's things that I enjoy about the NFL, but there's also things that's I find very hypocritical on the business side. And people end up being greedy, and you see the other side, like where you see agents or financial advisors rob dudes for $300,000, $400,000. You see that side of shit where there's sharks everywhere. It's nasty, man. It gets gross.
Is it fair to say that, like, overall you think that the NFL was a good thing for you, but you also, like, after being in it, you see how the sausage is made, and there's a lot of shady shit that doesn't live up to that, like you said, the Disneyfication, the perfect life that you assume that you have once you get into the NFL?
Well, I think that's the thing, right? It gets like, I see a lot of comments sometimes, like, because like I enjoy Twitter, so I go to my mentions. So I see a lot of people. I haven't been going on lately because I can't deal with the comments anymore because they bother me. But like, you'll see people that, oh, you're so ungrateful, and that has been such a branded thing, and it has happened inside the NFL too. Like you'll see like the promotional videos the NFL will play before every season. Like Chris Carter, big on this, right? He'll be like, "It is a privilege to put on that uniform. It's a privilege to play in this league." And I just disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think it's a right that you earn. And you earn that right for the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in on the field, that you earn that shit. And they brand it as this privilege. And if by the logic, I guess it is a privilege, but breathing is a privilege, right? Because not everybody has the privilege to breathe. But I think in this specific instance, I think it's petty to call it a privilege, because it makes it feel like I owe you something for doing this. You know what I mean? That's they try to market it and brand it like that, when it's like, no, bro, we are the product. We make this shit go. For years, we made these people billions of dollars. Like, and there's nothing wrong with operating in that sense and wanting that same respect in return, but you don't get it. And so you feel like this, like, but shut up, you just should be lucky to be here. Like, and after the while, you get like, well, fuck you too.
I also think that a lot of people look at somebody that's made it to the NFL, and in people's minds, it's like, well, that dude's good. That dude's set for life. Like, good for them. Like, it becomes this thing. If you play in the league, it's like millionaire. Boom. Done.
Yeah.
They have a great life now. And it's not always like that.
No, it's definitely not that. I was lucky in a sense where I got extremely lucky meeting the right people, right? Like I said, I know a lot of people who have gotten robbed by their financial advisors. I know a lot of people who, now they working jobs. They go to work every day. And so like I got lucky where, I did the right things, made some good investments. But that's luck. I didn't go to school for finances. I don't know. Like I know a little bit, but it's just from, me running with people who do know what they're doing. And so that aspect of it is also, like it's hard to navigate because, you just wanted to grow up, play football. And I mean, that's another thing that people don't take into account, where it's like, if you was to meet some stranger at a bar, I'd be like, hey, what do you do? And they tell you profession, and like you give them their life story, like, yeah, man, since I was 7 years old, I've done this thing. I've been working towards this goal every single year. I've been working. And then 20 years later, I finally made it, to the point where I could take care of my family. You'd be like, man, that's so admirable and that's amazing. But when it comes to sports, people are like, oh, you just got lucky. You hit the genetic lottery. It's just luck. And so you don't get looked at like, man, you really perfected this craft. Like you just look at it like you're just a dumb athlete, and that kind of seeps in over time as well. But it's not just fans; it's also administration that looks at you like that. It's also the high, what we call upstairs. The owners, the GMs, yada yada, and like they're a little bit more favorable, but they don't respect your mental like that as well. And so after a while, to my man's point on the phone, after a while, you start getting sour to the entire process, and some people don't. Like there's some people who get retired and still bang that NFL the privilege drum. I don't understand them cats, but after a while, you see the cats, you start calling out their bullshit. You still call that. So like, I'm heavy into like talking shit about the NFL, not talking shit, but just like calling out the hypocrisy. Like you give a fuck about players, give ex players healthcare. Like you give a fuck about players, get rid of Thursday football. Like you give a fuck about, what I'm saying? Like this kind of stuff. Like you steady negotiating with the NFLP all day, trying to bang against player safety, but then in the public gonna say you care about player safety. It just doesn't make any sense. And NFLPA, I don't have a lot to say about them because it's a lot of the same shit, and it's all about money. And so at the end of the day, you just get tired of the process, and you just call it out for what it is. And also, we live in a different world now where there's so much content. Like ex players can say and will do so much that it's not going to stay around like it would back in the day. Like if a player back in the day, like that AI practice thing, that's embedded in our mind, it was a generational moment. But like those moments happen so much now that it's just not the same. And so like players are more vocal now than they have ever been because everybody has a medium.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Yeah. Good answer. Thank you guys for joining us on this week's Macrodosing. We'll be back next week. Got a guest coming in. I'll just say his name's Adam Richmond. You may know him as Man from Man vs. Food. He's done a lot of other stuff, but that's where I think a lot of people will recognize him from. Very fascinating guy. As Arian texted the group chat during the interview, he goes, this motherfucker is an almanac of food and food knowledge. He really knows everything. So he's joining us next week, and we'll be back. Love you guys.